and the draft is ready, guys. This is a miracle today, and let's jump to see where the miracle takes us.
An on-time match for BTK. Say it is not so, Trex. We're going to be looking at a Ling ban on the side of BTK and Alpha taken off the table by Godspeed.
All right, man. I mean, target bans on the board already. One of the only times we see Alpha in that first set of bans is when Mobazane is on the opposing team, and Godspeed are not going to waste any time with it. How these bans are going to evolve over the next 4 games definitely could change up. I feel like in a lot of series in NACT so far, we've seen a lot of evolution in drafts just from going through the 4 games and, you know, seeing new picks come in, seeing picks that are now problems, and I feel that's where the state of the meta is. It normally starts on something and quickly turns into something else. High-low ban does come in from BTK, and the fact that both teams are, you know, taking this ban face slow shows how much that both of these teams know how much is on the line here.
Yeah, the big thing for me is how, especially the roam, Joybaj, I mean, he used to be on BTK. He knows a lot about Zane, how he rotates and stuff, but he's going to be sitting across from one of the best roams in North America in Shark. Is he going to still be able to get that vision, know where Zane is all the time, also be able to protect his jungler from some of those rotations? I mean, Shark is just so quick, so fast, so much knowledge and genius when it comes to his positioning, his playmaking ability. It's going to be a matchup I'm really key on seeing here.
Then you bring up a great point in talking about Joybaj there, and something we have to point out though is, you know, when we talk about BTK, sometimes we talk about Shark, sometimes we talk about Zia, sometimes we talk about Zane. When we talk about Godspeed right now, all the talk is on Baj, and what we need to see from Godspeed, I think, for them to really step up and, you know, take a game, take 2 games, who knows? Everyone else on the team needs to be ready to make a name for themselves today, right? Everyone on the team needs to be able to step up, back into the bans, the high-lows, the Arlot ban coming out from BTK. I got a hint we might be hinting at, you know, White Chicken picking up the Edith up front. Last time we saw him pick the Edith and the Arlot was open to Natha's hands, it was a problem to deal with for White Chicken. So I think this is kind of making sure that White Chicken can have a decent game.
Yeah, especially when it came to Fly Chicken versus Nats. When it comes to just XP lane versus XP lane, and we're going to start off with XP lane pickup there. But when it comes to XP lane versus XP lane, I want to say there's very little that can be done against an Arlot in the first place. Put that in the hands of somebody who's actually very strong. You've got some fast rotations. He's able to join the team fights very quickly. Meanwhile, you're still trying to clear out your lane there. I do like this pickup. This is going to be very early amount of damage from the side of BTK.
And we'll see exactly what happens. The Bane does get picked up for Godspeed. I like the Khalid pick. I think like we said last time, Khalid's slowly coming in more and more. Thinking Edith could be solid for the side of Godspeed. They go for the Ruby, so we're already seeing this, you know, a tight composition starting to form with Godspeed, and we know from watching BTK they like to have these grouped up fights, and it already looks like that might be what Godspeed is trying to bring as well.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say this Bane works very well. It's got great potential when it comes to objective pushing. Plus, I want to say this has become one of those really top tier picks for Zane as well, because it means he doesn't really have to worry about objectives, or he doesn't have to worry about those early turtle objectives. Gets farmed very quickly and is able to take it where his team shines, which is to get those objective pushes out there. The team fighting, you're exactly correct. We've seen them even pull out Eves to really have that nice little tight box with the real world manipulation to kind of close in around the enemies. Here Hoon's gonna go ahead pick up the Valentina,
and now we see the Edith come in. So there's this question, like I most likely the Edith is Roam, but I just want to throw out the possibility we did see Shark's name swap up to the front there, pick up this Khalid. I'm just saying the possibilities out there. Maybe we see a Khalid Roam. I think we saw it last night in MPL or something like that. So you never know.
I mean, it's got the potential, the amount of damage that he can output, how quickly he can traverse the map, his ultimate being this huge team CCing ability, and then his ability to regen very quickly around there means he doesn't have to go back to base as quickly, and he can still continue to be a nuisance. I mean, heck, for all we know with BTK, this could go into the marksman position to be able to whittle down some of the marksmen that we see out there, and to take advantage of the way that first ability from Khalid, it doesn't really take any CC. Like it's basically negated, or CC is negated by this.
Yeah, you know, Godspeed now banning into these marksman slots, taking out the carry. But the thing is Zia has shown a lot of potential, not only on like marksman gold laners, but we've seen him on the Alice, we've seen him on Rubies, we've seen him really expand, and that's something that BTK is like almost comfortable leaning into. Having Zane pick up something like the Nolan, the Julian, you know, having him pick up this damage jungler, the Roger maybe, and then putting more heavy offlaners in. And with the way they're looking, having this Khalid, having this Edith, it seems very feasible for BTK to fall onto a draft like that.
Yeah, and you took the words out of my mouth. Zia has been one of my favorite marksmans for a long-standing season ever since he picked it up here. And the biggest question on my mind at the start of this season is, with the expansion of that gold lane, was Zia going to be able to fit well, picking up a bunch of these fighters, the Alice, the Ruby, the Lunux in that position, and he's shown that it doesn't matter who he has in that gold lane. He's going to be able to use any of them very well here, especially moving on into a lot of these team fights. We do see Harith, a big focus there onto that gold lane, as Harith is taken off by Godspeed.
Most definitely. So now we come into these final picks in the second phase. Godspeed, they already have a roam, they have an EXP laner, possibly gold lane Ruby, also very possible. They can still slot something into EXP if they want. We need a mage though, we need a mage. Lu Yi's open. Big possibility for that. We still have the Aurora. We don't have the Vexana. So I'm just wondering, which way do they go here? Do they pick up your mid laner and wait for counterplay and the EXP or gold?
Well, and yeah, and that's the thing too. We're going to need to make sure that whatever it is, we still have the protection. One of the biggest problems for Bane is that early game. If the enemies start showing aggression, if they start invading, you need something there to be able to protect them, to allow him to get fed. It's one of the biggest problems we see with Bane, where he right from the early game, he's able to get one buff, then the second buff, they're already all over him, and then once that starts happening, it's very hard for Bane to come back from. Here, another Sicilian we're going to see taken up there by Godspeed.
And honestly, the Sicilian here, I kind of like. You have great kiting. You have something that can, you know, deal with the run-in from the Edith. You have the Bat's Feast, which can kind of kite against the Khalid. And whether, you know, you probably pick up Purify here or something like that. Maybe the Flicker. I think I would like the Purify here to add even more kiting effect. And again, the Khalid just kind of sits behind this Bane, sits behind this Ruby, sits behind this Gatot in this little box and gets free shots. And you have so much peel on the side of Godspeed with the Deadly Catch, with the Ruby, with the taunts from the Gatot. You have a lot of option, and here comes the Jungle Roger and the Lunox gold from Zia. A lot of magic damage on the side of BTK, but it will be made up if Mobazay can get some snowball in.
Yeah, and that's what they're really banking on. Mobazane, especially on this Roger. I mean, it just kind of takes me back to M3. It's one of the heroes that I honestly don't know why he doesn't play more, because I feel like he's absolutely magical on this hero. Mix that with Lunux, who's going to be able to kind of avoid a lot of these kind of ganks that are going to be coming in through the gold lane with that Brilliance ultimate. And finally, we do see the Kufra pickup for Joybaj.
That is a box right there on Godspeed, man. We got, so what is this? Gold lane Ruby, Gatot EXP lane, Jungle Bane, restart on the Sicilian in the mid, and Joybaj on the Kufra. I mean, there's definitely going to be some damage with the Bane. There's going to be some damage with the Sicilian, but all of that doesn't seem to really hit until mid or late game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot of tankiness and a lot of late game potential, but have we secured? Are we safe in the early game, especially against a scaling hero like Roger with Zane? Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to find out. It's going to be the first match of the series between BTK and Godspeed.
I mean, and not only BTK and Godspeed, Joybaj versus former father Mobazane. I'm waiting for the big alt play, but you know, you mentioned can they get through? Will they be able to handle the early aggression of BTK here? The thing is, they're also tanking I think the truth is, as long as Restart can stay in a safe position, there's not that many targets for Mobazane, and there is plenty of peel to slow him down. There's plenty of peel to stop the dives with the Ruby, with the Kufra, with everyone, and there goes Joybaj already onto Shark.
Oh, Shark actually taking a heap of damage, is going to be able to find an escape. Godspeed, I'm not sure. I guess playing it safe, not really wanting to chase down Shark, put themselves in more harm's way.
Most definitely. Now, Shark will have to go back to base. Should give Godspeed a little bit of advantage when it comes to clearing this mid wave. Going to be able to move around, but Restart's going to take that time, go back to base, get some mana, reset the skills. And I think it's going to be a pretty slow play from Restart. It's going to be a pretty slow play from Godspeed overall. Joybaj might be looking out for these knockups, but it's going to be more of, delay. If they get a kill out of it, that's awesome. But again, more of delay. Joybaj.
Yeah, and
okay.
That's kind of for me, the slow play is going to be a huge problem when it comes to some of these first objectives. Are we just giving them away? Do we have a way to actually contest them? We have a duo down here on the Fly Chicken who's going to back up to his tower. Meanwhile, the side of Godspeed, they're going to go ahead and retreat to it, looking for some good position. 10 seconds left on this turtle.
I mean, they do have Deadly Catch, right? They have Deadly Catch. Bane is not a slump in terms of taking objectives. And with the amount of CC, oh, wait a second, Baj in trouble. We'll be able to flicker away. But with the amounts of CC they have, it's not like they actually have to get multiple kills to take the objectives. They just have to, set up some of these crowd controls correctly to be able to get the retribution off. So it's definitely a possibility for them. It's just, can they execute it?
Yeah, Bat's Feet has already been used by Restart, and does look like Joybaj is in a little bit of trouble here. Mobazane getting some good positioning on this turtle. 4 members of Godspeed looking for an angle that they can come in with. Divine from the top, Fly Chicken and Hoon from the bottom. Avatar the Guardian does catch Divine. We do have, a nice Sandstorm comes in with Joy. I believe that was Godspeed who was able to get the turtle. Now we're fighting a Shark in trouble. Mobazane very low too as well. Joybaj goes down, taken out by Divine. Fly Chicken finds a kill onto Divine as well. 2-1 in favor of BTK, with the first turtle going to Godspeed. And you talked about it, that Deadly Catch able to play a pivotal role.
Yeah, Shiro definitely able to get the turtle, but also the damage of BTK also playing a pivotal role in getting the bounce back, right? So it pretty much comes down to an even trade. Gold at a standstill. Sire low, Zia able to get the kill.
That darkening alt of the Lunux does percentage health damage. That's a huge win when it comes to taking on a Ruby in that gold lane. And unfortunately for Syri, I want to say just not really respecting the damage that was going to come out of it.
Most definitely. So now we're sitting at 3-1. Game still pretty even. That's exactly what Godspeed wants. So Fly Chicken.
Ooh, goes in, Restart, expends that flicker to get away. Actually able to back off against a 4-man gank from BTK. Divine in the bush. Ooh, looking for an angle here. Does find a little bit of a taunt now, putting some damage now onto Mobazane, who's gonna have to back up. You are looking to see if Godspeed is gonna want to go in against this purple buff. You see 2 members, Divine there as well as Shiro, but Mobazane very cleanly able to pick up his purple.
And one more thing to point out with Godspeed's comp, right? It's Shiro kind of, they're taking their time. They're not forcing fights. But while that's happening, Shiro making his way to off lanes, getting off some nice gold plating, using the Deadly Catch to damage towers. Godspeed came with a very clear plan here. It's BTK's job to thwart it. BTK definitely more... Oh, Joybaj should be able to get away, but BTK definitely more... have a lot more angles to attack, have a lot more possibilities of plans. It's not as just straightforward, but still, man, I got to give it up to Godspeed for coming in like this.
Yeah, they're actually not doing as bad. They're not having as many issues as I thought that they might in the early game. Shark comes in with a big flicker play, followed by the Sandstorm. Is that going to be enough? Mobazane finds himself a kill onto the turtle. Syri finds a kill onto Mobazane. They are trading right now, 4-2 right now. Zia finds a kill onto Divine. That is a 1-for-2 trade, and the turtle going over to BTK.
All right, so here's the big answer to Godspeed from BTK right now. Mobazane does go down, which is, again, a beautiful trade for Godspeed, losing Turtle. They lose EXP lane and Turtle. gold a little bit into the favor of BTK, but overall the big answer, Fly Chicken with this Raging Sandstorm has been able to lock down Shiro, and he's done such a good job at it.
Yeah, and the one thing that I want to say too is that I want to say that Godspeed have kind of been held at bay for the Bane. The one thing that Bane really shines at is being able to take towers, and right now they really haven't been focused on that. They've actually been doing a good job of contesting a lot of these turtles, not taking too many hits when it comes to some of the deaths here. But I kind of want to see Godspeed maybe start turning their attention to these towers, because that's where Bane shines.
That's definitely where Bane shines. We're restarting trouble. Able to just flick back.
He's going to be able to get away. Has the Bats feast out there. Shiro comes to join him, and the rest of BTK going to go ahead and back up.
I mean, Godspeed, Restart's been doing a great job of kind of getting out of the way of these. He still hasn't gone down yet, and as long as he doesn't go down, he's going to be able to continuously build up some stacks. But what we are seeing him, he's kind of staying in the middle a lot, which means he's not doing what you want them to do, is which rotate to these off lanes. Joyboz, Shiro, get a little bit more involved in the macro.
Oh, and just like that, those little mistakes that BTK is going to be able to take advantage of. They do catch Joyboz in the bush. He's not going to be able to use that Tyrant's Revenge to get away.
All right, so 6-2. BTK slowly inching more and more ahead, and at what point does that just turn into the complete downfall of Godspeed, right? It's about a 2K gold lead. Godspeed's still in the game. They came in with this slow play strategy, but for it to work, they have to, staunch the bleeding a little bit. They can't just let BTK completely escape.
Oh, and from the flank, they do find a kill onto Restart. Deadly Catch is out, catches the whole of Godspeed. Zia finds a kill onto Divine. Oh, a nice I'm offended by Syri. Pulls two members under the tower. Shark goes down, and that means that BTK is going to go ahead and be able to put some pressure, find the mid tower of Godspeed.
Yeah, the ricochet from the Crab Claw Cannon gets that final hit on the Shark, so they find something. They at least get a kill, but still they lose Divine, they lose Joyboz, both of them sitting at 3 deaths right now. Shiro going into a slightly tankier build as well, and what does this mean for Godspeed here? The fact that, yes, you get War Axe, now you pick up Brute Force Breastplate, that means your scale into damage is even less. I don't know, man. Like, where's the damage going to be at in Godspeed? It's starting to look a little scary.
Yeah, and especially as things start coming online for BTK here too. You're absolutely right. Brute Force Breastplate going to give him a little defense, a little bit of speed. We do have the Brilliance is out right now. Shark and Mobazane looking for an angle, not able to find it exactly, as Godspeed doing a good job of looking for that retreat without having the vision on the map of all of their opponents.
Most definitely, but Godspeed still taking the more, the dedicated to slow route, never forcing an engage, not really going for picks, just kind of keeping distance, keeping tabs, but they need to do what you said, and that is get a tower here and there, open up the map.
Yeah, and you see here right now, we do come in with that Sandstorm. Joyboz is going to look for something here. Avatar, the Guardian, comes out. Shiro finds a kill onto Zia. The rest of BTK actually going to go ahead and back off. A concealed play coming out from Joyboz, wanting his team to kind of run up. Unfortunately, feels like Godspeed wasn't on the same page there. They kind of back up. A few of them hesitated. In goes Divine, looking for some damage there. Shark on the back, trying to get a little bit of tankiness there. Gets taken out by Shiro from the back. Mobazane coming from the flank onto Joyboz, looking for the damage. Divine in trouble here, jumps onto Mobazane, is going to go ahead and back off there. Meanwhile, Syri finds a tower up at the top.
Okay, so Godspeed kind of back in there a bit. They get a kill onto Zia. Syri takes a tower. They reverse some pressure. They drop that gold deficit to only 1,000. And now it feels like they're starting to hit a spike here. We're 9.5 minutes in. First Lord is up, and we saw that they do have potential to fight for objectives in that very first turtle. We saw that they do have the ability to use their crowd control to disrupt Mobazane and give Shiro the edge. And they're going to start rushing this.
Ooh, you can see here Shark is actually kind of getting backed off here. Mobazane looking, he does find an angle. Avatar the Guardian comes out, does not find any members. We do have the Deadly Catch is out as well. 10% left on this Lord. It gets reset. Mobazane finds a kill onto Divine. That is a big tanky player down further side of Godspeed. They're chasing down Shiro. Look at the damage on that Crab Claw Cannon. Spread between Shark and Fly Chicken.
It's definitely starting to scale. I feel like Godspeed maybe used a few too many ults a little bit early there in that fight, and their ults are key to taking these Lord objectives. Here comes the conceal play though from Joybosh.
Oh, Shark in trouble here. Gets taken down with the deadly catch from Shiro. Shiro with the Crab Claw Cannon on to Zia. Is going to go ahead and ward him back. He actually has to use his brilliance to get away as he gets taken very low. Meanwhile, Mobazane and Hoon doing a great job trying to create some macro around the map here, trying to push some of these lanes.
And Shiro right back onto the Lord, right back onto doing his job. The cooldown for that deadly catch isn't too big, so he's able, as long as the fights go on, he's able to use it multiple times. There goes another one, and first Lord over to Godspeed. BTK getting pushed back a bit.
Yeah, and that's just super interesting. We were talking about when this might be able to come online. They might not have the hero damage, but they have more than enough abilities to kind of force BTK back from a lot of these objectives. Unfortunately for the side of Godspeed, they lose a tower to minions at the bottom.
All right, Lay, nice pick on a Shiro.
Oh! He gets taken down. Deadly catches out, finds a kill on the Shark. Joybosh getting taken down like in Pounce from Mobazane, closes the distance and taking down his former teammate.
Okay, so that shows right there that Godspeed just doesn't have the burst potential yet. They can do the long haul. They can get the poke with the Crab Claw Cannon, a couple bats here and there, but they still, I mean, because they just got the big Tyrant's Rage on a 2 of 3 members paired up with the Deadly Catch, and it was not enough, right? So I think Godspeed still needs to go for a bit more of these drawn out fights. Taking a look at the items, Shiro gets the Endless Battle locked in, just locked in Malefic Roar. Taking a look at Zane, also goes for Brute Force Breastplace, has Windtalker, War Axe, Endless Battle as well. And both junglers, I mean, barely a deficit between gold. It is down the wire.
Yeah, really interesting here. I mean, you do have the Malefic Roar on Ashiro, so he's going to start really focusing on this tower taking ability here right now. I feel like they're, as far as team fights are concerned, they do have a decent amount of CC. Restart starting to come online, however, slower is the word. He's sitting at 0, 1, and 4 right now, so he's not exactly like doing fantastic on there, but it's still, he still has time while the side of Godspeed is still doing a good job of taking these towers.
Definitely. So now Godspeed looking for an angle. Joybosh once again with the knock up.
Oh, they find Zane. Deadly catch comes out. Zane gets eaten up by them. Shiro finding the kill there. Zia finds a kill onto Joybosh. Restart. Able to start laying down the damage. Sanguine Claws is out. Who has to run?
Oh!
Claw Cannon takes down 2 of BTK.
Locked and loaded, baby. Locked and loaded. Crab Claw Cannon with the double KO. Now they're going to cut lane, go for this mid tier 3. And they're online at this point. Godspeed feeling themselves. Baj with the big knock up onto ex-teammate Mobazane. And now they're going to drill it down the mid.
Man, what? Man, Crab. As soon as I saw them both low, I'm like, no. Crab Claw Cannon's about to eat these guys for dinner. And Shiro doing such a good job. We were talking about when the damage is going to start coming online. You saw it there. What a great push by Godspeed. And BTK need to be very careful about these next few minutes, because one more fight like that could find Godspeed pushing all the way to the core.
Most definitely, and now they get position over the Lord once again. Baj doing a great job at just sitting and watch for the lock load. Target locked on.
Yeah, we do have a nice little deadly catch goes out there from the side. Mobazane coming up from the bottom. Avatar of the Guardian comes, actually gets interrupted. Divine goes down. Mobazane finds the kill there. 10% left on this Lord. Shiro looking for the angle, able to find the Lord, and now running for the hills. Chicken is chasing, finds the kill, takes down the Godspeed jungler, and just like that, BTK punishing Godspeed for taking that Lord.
All right, 3 for 1. Lord to the side of Godspeed. They did get it at a decent time. Lord does come out here, so it's 10 seconds on the clock, 25 for Shiro. Godspeed probably won't be able to get too much out of this. So honestly, does feel kind of like a win for BTK in that trade up. Man, we're going back and forth. It's 45K for each team in gold right now. I think as long as Godspeed doesn't overextend too much, kind of stays with their more slower play style, they can still come out on top. If they kind of get a little too trigger happy, that's when we see them fall off in these team fights.
Yeah, another thing too is I've been noticing that some of the Avatar, the Guardians, kind of going to waste for Divine. That last one he got stunned out of. The one before that didn't, I want to say the last two before that didn't really have anybody inside of it, so we're not really utilizing it to the best of our abilities. We do have a little bit of engagement here. Zeta gets picked off there. We do have the deadly catch coming out. Syrie finds a kill on the fly chicken. That is 2 down. Avatar the Guardian into the back lines. MOBA Zane putting some damage on, gets caught by Joybaj. Sanguine Claws just missed the werewolf as MOBA Zane counting his lucky stars as he was able to roll out of that, but another tower taken by Godspeed.
Baji boy has just been hitting them one after one after one, and now another knockup pushing them back.
Yeah, and down goes the ultimate from the Bane, able to pierce into the base of BTK. That is a high ground down at mid.
All right, what does this mean right now? Godspeed in control of the game right now. Inhibitor down in the mid side. BTK on the ropes right now. So BTK, I think, you know, we've seen Fried Chicken has been such an important member of this composition right here. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to if he can find that right angle and get the big play onto Restart. If he can find that angle and get the big stun onto Shiro. And also Zane, I think he needs to come into these fights a little bit later, especially around the Lord Pit, because Sire and Baj are just all over him, man. Last Lord, he was trying to find a way in, but the bouncing ball came out. Sire locks on, and he's just stuck. He can't move.
Yeah, and that is a huge issue when it comes to these objectives too. And then you're kind of talking about coming in when Joybaj still has that. Oh, we do have a concealed play coming in here. All 4 members kind of trying to chase down Hoon, using that dash to get himself to safety. Is going to use the deadly catch for the disengage. Meanwhile, BTK sees this as an opportunity, looking for a possible pincer move, the flank onto the side of Godspeed. They decide against it. Now the Lord is up.
All right, Lord up. Godspeed with control. A little bit of damage on the Da Vinci. Looking for White Chicken, jumping to the back.
Yeah, Divine in trouble here. Oh, Avatar the Guardian does get interrupted. Divine in trouble. Almost gets bursted down. Syrie comes in here holding the whole members. The brilliance is out from Zia. Avatar the Guardian comes down, is not able to save his team member. That is 1 down for Godspeed. From the backside, Fly Chicken laying on the damage, has the winter crown to be able to protect him, and finds himself an escape. And just like that, I want to say BTK kind of turned around the advantage for this game.
All that, and the Lord doesn't even go down yet. BTK take the gold lead. They take the positioning. They have found towers. They found momentum back in it. And Fried Chicken did such a great job. It was off cam, but he zones away Shiro, pushes him back. And now Joybaj, though.
Oh. A big ultimate catches 2 members. Hoon is down, and Fly Chicken running for the hills. MOBA Zane is not going to have enough to kind of contest this Shark with the pop-up onto Divine, who gets bursted down by Zia. Meanwhile, Shiro and Joybaj and Restart starting on this Lord. Looks like it's going to be reset for the side of Godspeed.
And right now, they're just going blow for blow right now, punch for punch. Godspeed, I mean, as long as Restart stays in a safe position, they got damage. As long as Baj keeps hitting those knockups, they have play potential. BTK needs to do what they normally don't do, and that means widening themselves up. They need to attack at angles. They cannot come at Godspeed's formation straight on.
Yeah, right now, what Shark's trying to do is he's trying to position himself in a way that protects his team from Joybaj running in there with the Tyrant's Revenge and like catching the entire team. You've already seen it's been such a huge play-making potential for Joybaj and Godspeed. I mean, just the last time he was able to find 2 members of BTK, take them down. Thankfully, BTK, great positioning, able to kind of withstand it, not allow Godspeed to find this Lord. And I want to say both of these teams licking their chops for an opportunity to potentially take down this next Lord.
This is only third. Oh, wait a second, Baj.
Yeah,
Zane
gets taken out. That's a retreat down for MOBAs for the team of BTK, and this is going to be a cleanup for Shiro. Shark running for the hill, still has his immortality. Going to use that flicker pop up. Divine gets popped up there. a kill, able to find the Lord there. What a great taunt there. Divine goes in, gets the taunt onto Mobazane, and then you see the track marks of the Avatar, the Guardian, CC Zane down again, and then that's all she wrote for the BTK jungler. Lord coming in from the mid side. BTK need to be able to defend this. You see tuning of the band. Zia goes in. Zia's actually down. Shiro, Deadly catches out. 10% left on the base. Godspeed out of nowhere find a victory over BTK.
What does this mean? What does this mean? All the BTK fans, I think they're blaming Liz right now. I think they're blaming Liz. What just happened? Godspeed comes in with a composition that, listen, man, at first we were like, and I'm thinking, I mean, this isn't bad as long as they can slow play it, as long as they can get to where they need to. It will work again, especially against the playstyle that BTK likes to bring. And Godspeed, against the odds, man, comes in and takes game number 1, and that means they're that much closer. This is what, like I said, this weekend's all about points, baby, and they just put 1 on the board.
Yeah, and I mean, now do we start talking about the potential of Godspeed possibly getting more than 1 point?
Yeah.
BTK, right now, Godspeed is ahead of BTK. Godspeed is sitting at 6, BTK sitting at 5. So there's a potential, and now they're tied with Maple Leafs. We're looking at the potential of Maple Leafs getting knocked down, BTK getting knocked down. But man, let's talk about this game here, because Godspeed did an amazing job, especially Shiro on this Bane, the setups by Joybaj, and that last, finally, Avatar, the Guardian, actually lands on something. Divine finds it on the Mobazane, and that really sets up that last hit and that last push for the side of Godspeed.
Yeah, I mean, overall, everyone played their part on Godspeed, and this is what we said when the draft first started. We talk about Joybaj so much, and yes, he was definitely a star in that game, but you said it, Shiro played an amazing game, and even Restart, man, the positioning, knowing that he couldn't really be the only player that could get onto him was Fried Chicken, and eventually even that wore off. Godspeed, 17 kills to 18, a lesser KDA, but still taking the game cleanly. I mean, it wasn't even like it was a big comeback or anything. They were almost always tied. Let's take a look at these highlights, though.
Yeah, you can see there, I mean, the objectives, especially the first few, Shiro doing such a good job of being able to get them. Here, I want to say they lost 2 for that objective, and Zia absolutely blows up Syri here in the early game. But after that, the Deadly Catch doing a huge amount of work for the side of Godspeed.
You know, I want to talk about something because we just saw it there, and we're going to see it if we have the very last big play highlight. Mobazane, and I've been talking about it for the past couple weeks. Mobazane has this habit of always being like he's still playing Fredrin, like this habit of always being the first one on the Lord out of his team, always being the one who has to be close to the Lord. And I think in today's current meta, the jungler really needs to kind of sit back a bit more and maybe be the 3rd, 4th, or even the last one to engage onto that Lord. And we saw, and I think he's getting a bit better. Like even here, he's the last one to come into this fight. He was getting his purple, but in that last fight, he was the only one close to his Lord, and he gets caught off. And instead of playing from behind and being the damage dealer that he needs to be, sometimes he's a little bit too far up.
Yeah, well, that kind of has to do with some of the picks that he favors. Roger does not have the same kind of capabilities as using a Ling to use that Finch pose to get in, get the retreat, get out. Roger has one way that's going to be able to get in, possibly with that transformation, use the Lycan Pounce or something like that, but it's not necessarily something that can get him in, get the retreat, and get out as well. Once he gets in, he's looking for kills, he's looking for the retreat, he's looking to do something there before he can eventually escape.
Most definitely. I mean, and yes, I think this is true. Like, he plays the alphas, he plays the Roger, but there still has to be some space that he needs to start creating. And I don't know if it's just bad habits die hard or what it is, but this isn't like the first time I've seen it. It's to the point where I'm like noticing it, and I pointed it out a bit ago. And now he's still kind of paying the price for it. And Godspeed, honestly, that game, man, it felt like they they had BTK's card a little bit. Like they knew the play style, and it's a play style we've been talking about from BTK for a while. How they have a very singular, focused play style where all 5 of us want to try to overpower you. And Godspeed brought a composition that could beat that. So BTK forced to change up. Godspeed bans out the Ruby this time. They are going to be first pick once again. Were they first pick last game?
No, they were
second pick last game.
First pick.
So now maybe looking for a trade up.
Yeah, maybe even looking to possibly take away that Edith from the side of BTK with a first pickup, Edith pickup. I don't want to say like either of these teams usually tries to favor those assassin first picks. They usually like to get that flexible, you don't know where this pick is going type of situation that BTK have to answer to, rather than getting a pick and then allowing BTK to have some type of counter or reply to it in their next 2 picks.
Definitely. So now it's first pick, R-Lot open, plenty of options open right now. Chip is gone, Fovius gone, but knowing the way that the Godspeed drafted last time, I think it's kind of hard to guess exactly what they're going to bring to the table here. They could just first pick the Bane here if they wanted, or something.
You're obviously ahead of me by 5 seconds.
No.
Oh man, what a pickup! What a guess! I mean, it worked out for them. Not just that, but it's something that that Zane usually likes to try to lean on, and they had such success with it. So why change the formula with something when something is actually working for you?
I'm like, that one's gonna haunt me right there, man. All right, BTK, what do you guys do? I think go for the R-Lot, man. Don't get me wrong. I think the Khalid was very good, but I think an R-Lot will do it better if Godspeed wants to bring that grouped up strategy. You can dash through, you can proc a lot more of those passives, and you can get that big final slash off. White Chicken, though, going to get the Gatot. And last week, his Gatot, I'm not going to lie, did not fare too well. It just seemed a little off. It seemed a little like maybe he wasn't really comfortable on it yet. Hopefully, it looks better this time.
Yeah, and hopefully, especially because right now BTK kind of needs to be able to answer back to Godspeed here. Needs to be able to answer back with some of these objectives, especially I want to say for a draft from Godspeed last game that did not look favorable. There was a lot of tankiness, a lot of mid to late game damage. I was wondering where they were going to be able to get kills from, how they were going to contest objectives, and they were still able to kind of hold that line until their power spike came on, until restart was absolutely just raining damage down onto them. So, I mean, it just tells that there is another level to Godspeed here that we have yet to see. And here, they're going to go ahead and pick up the Khalid for themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, it works, right? I mean, it's definitely, it's still going to kind of supply the same thing, except this time they'll have a little bit more dive. I'm wondering now, I'm already thinking down the line, what does Baj go? Does he pick up the Kufra again? I mean, he played so well on it. He played so cleanly with all the dashes that BTK is bringing right now. It could still work. At least Zia this time will get a solid marksman that he can really dance around with. I like Zia on this Claude. I think it's clean. As long as White Chicken can perform in the Gatot, the composition is still very nice over on BTK.
Yeah, and that's going to be the important thing for him, is probably getting him on something that he's comfortable on. The big thing for me is how we're kind of contesting some of these early fights. I do like having the Julian there. You don't need that level 4. Right from level 3, he's going to be coming online and become a menace, especially for people like Restarts, for people like Divine, who might not be able to find escape. Even for Shiro, before he gets that War Axe on the Bane, he's not as tanky or able to escape a lot of damage like you usually like with a lot of these junglers. So it's going to be very important early game for the side of BTK here.
Definitely. So now, second phase of bans coming in. Matilda ban does come out from BTK. A solid ban, I think, on the Baj. We've seen him play it. We know it's something that he enjoys playing, but I think Baj is going to pick something a bit more aggressive. I think he's going to stick with things like the Kufra, stick with things like the Cho, stick with things that he knows. I'm going to get in your face, Zane. I'm going to, I'm going to get in all of your faces and cause as much chaos as possible, because I think that's where BTK starts to falter a little bit, when a team really starts to push back on them, right? So if Godspeed can continue to do that, good chance. Restart on the Sicilian also looks great, and Godspeed on the other hand just banning into mid lane here. Lu Yi, Valentina still open, could be a solid ban here.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking too. With the Lu Yi taking off, Valentina would probably be the next target on my back, which kind of leaves open possibly the Aurora or Lilia for the side of BTK to go ahead and pick up. Yeah, they take off the Tigreal there for the side of BTK. I do like. I was talking about Joybaj with his Kufra. It was a huge amount of sets there for the side of Godspeed. Always finding like multiple numbers for BTK there to be able to kind of take them down. A big surprise there. Hoon gonna go ahead and pick up the Valentina, which has been kind of a mainstay here in the meta. Now looking for something in the marksman lane for Godspeed.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do they keep it simple with the Kufa, or do they go for something like the Cho for Baj? I feel like the Cho's nice, but also you leave your team a little bit too much with the Cho, to whereas Godspeed has really been bringing this more tighter formation, so I don't know exactly if the Cho will fit perfectly, but I think the Kufra was phenomenal. It's going to be a little harder to hit here. Claude is not as easy as a target. He's got the Purify, he's got the BMI, a lot of answers, right, this time to the type of strategy that Godspeed wants to bring. They do still need a marksman as well, unless they go for exactly what they did last time.
Down to 0 seconds. Ooh, we're gonna go with a very late game marksman here. Cyrie's gonna have the carry, a lot of that true damage. I mean, it'll work well against Garakacha. I just kind of question it. Like usually I like the carry against those big, heavy, tanky type of compositions that you have in the late game. It helps you kind of burst it down. Here you've got a lot of mobility, you've got a lot of CC, you've got the taunt from Fried Chicken, and with that you've got the burst potential that could potentially take carry down, who needs to get a little bit closer than most people do during a lot of these engagements.
The Kaja carry combo though is vicious, right? It does definitely have potential. Definitely a lot of positives. Very different strat than what they brought last time, but a little more, two-dimensional. It's not as straightforward. They have a couple more outs this time. It's not just all the damage of Shiro and Restart. Everybody can kind of play a part here. And I do like the fact that Godspeed brings something different in game number 2. It's like, okay, we beat you with this game 1. We know you're going to be ready for that this time. Let's try something else.
Yeah, and that's a big thing here. Actually, Fried Chicken actually swaps it out. Shark's going to be on the Garakacha. Fried Chicken's going to be on his comfort pick, the Edith. We're going to see if this has maybe a little bit of a change for him now that he's on the Edith instead of a Shark. See if that brings upon a little bit of a different result here versus Godspeed.
Yeah, most definitely so. It's game number 2. BTK behind right now. BTK's fighting for points right now. Didn't think we'd hear that one this season, but here we are. Godspeed with the lead, and it's Godspeed, baby.
Yeah, BTK looking for revenge, looking to answer back at Godspeed, who took a surprising victory in the first game. We're going to see if there's going to be any differences here in how they handled the second.
All right, so Mobazane this time on the Julian, different than the Roger. Maybe currently more meta than the Roger. They will have a little bit of CC on their jungler plus damage, so I like it. Zia, we mentioned Zia too. Going to be a bit more fast moving, going to be much harder to pin down, but Zia goes for the sprint on this Claude. Not the most popular skill to choose. Normally it's something like the Purify, but I guess Zia just wants to be fast.
that just kind of shows possibly just more confidence he has in his ability to kind of kite and get around a lot of these abilities on the Claude right now. Yeah, because I agree. I think the Purify is kind of like more favored, kind of like, because I think a lot of players just assume eventually their number is going to be up. They're going to get caught, and you're going to need to have that Purify there. We do have a pause going on right now, but I mean, one first thing I notice is the clearing potential coming from that Julian. Very quick with Mobazane there. He's already cleared out his orange buff, and I want to say Shiro's still working on his orange.
And you know, seeing that sprint on the Claude makes me think that maybe BTK is going to come into this game with a bit more macro orientated, right? Maybe go for split pushes a bit more, especially after seeing the Bane, after seeing the playstyle of Godspeed last time. Even with the slight change up of Kaja and Carry, it is still, you know, we want to look for team fights. We want to try to get these pickoffs. We want to kind of do the same thing we did last time. So BTK immediately, okay, let's try something different. This time, let's have Zia maybe hover on these off lanes. Have Zia be the one to cover long lane when it's time for Lords, things of that nature, so that Zane can kind of hang out by these objectives.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I want to say both of these, you're looking at both marksmen who kind of do come into a little later, come online, both looking for the Trinity build. I do think that Claude favors a little bit more. He doesn't exactly need 3 items to do a decent amount of damage during team fights and things like that. So, ooh, 4-man down here by Divine, who senses a little bit of a flicker there, gets tossed up, and that is going to be, Divine actually able to flicker back, get his healing on, and that goes an entire gank attempt from BTK. Okay, good job for Godspeed right there. They do lose the turtle, but it could have been much worse. Shiro doesn't even really, one good thing Godspeed, they didn't really fully commit onto that turtle. They made sure they were still jungling, they made sure they were still doing things. BTK does take the lead, but now Zia maybe in a little bit of trouble. Or pushing him back. Zia's going to go ahead and use that Blazing Duet to try to clear out some of the minions, pushing back Joy Baj and Sairi. Luckily, he saw the Joy Baj was actually level 3, didn't have that Divine Judgment, so there was no fear of him getting pulled into tower there.
All right, so what's the plan from here, right? Does Godspeed, I think, same as last time, they just kind of take it slow. As long as they survive those ganks, as long as they don't fall way behind, they're still very much in this game. BTK, on the other hand, we just saw it. They wanted that early game gank. I think BTK, with Mobazane on Julian, it might not be a bad idea to, you know, maybe be willing to get a bit more aggressive. Because I do still feel like Godspeed has a better late game.
Oh, they go in. They're looking for the Divine Judgment onto Mobazane. They don't find it. Avatar the Guardian is out, catches 2 members of Godspeed. Joybaj in trouble. Oh, an IMU. Divine Judgment comes out from Hoon. That's going to be able to take down Divine. Mobazane finds a kill as well. That is an 0-2 right now for BTK.
Little bit of a mess up there, right? Bosch tries to flicker in or dash in, get the ult off, unable to really pull anyone back, and then Shark is just there with the AOG slamming down on Godspeed escape. This time BTK, oh! Big damage from Hoon.
Catches 2 members there. Shiro in a tough spot there, watching Joybaj get taken out there. Shark now becoming a nuisance here, trying to grab the aggro of this purple buff right now. It doesn't stop the health. It doesn't reset the health on those anymore. I remember when it did, and that used to be a huge problem when you had those invades. All you had to do was reset the aggro on those buffs, and you had to restart it all over again.
I mean, at this point, the BTK just keep up this aggression, right? I think last time when they had a small lead last time, maybe they should have gone a little bit harder. Maybe they should have pushed in a little bit more. And it looks like that's what they're doing this time. And Godspeed not having Baj on that chunky roam is starting to show some cracks.
Yeah, and it's becoming a little bit of an issue, especially because the setting potential. Joybaj went in, you talked about it before, went in for that Divine Judgment and got stunned. Wasn't able to pull back here, but we're now going to go ahead and take a look at some of the items.
And taking a look at the items, Shiro just locks in War Axe. Taking a look at Zane. We have the Blood Wings in. We're working on the next one. Gold laners, Zia and Toru. Zia leading a little bit, about 400 gold. Just got in the Scythe, but wait, big fight in the mid.
Yeah, big sandstorm comes out from Divine. Is that going to be enough? A little bit of a CC goes on the BTK. Look at Divine trying to chase down Mobazane. Might have gone a little bit too far. Shark there to fend off the assault. Meanwhile, Zia finds himself a tower.
And that's the big kicker there, right? BTK loses nothing. Mobazane gets away, but they still find a tower in the top side. Godspeed so much devoted to that fight. BTK takes advantage of it. And Godspeed already starting to kind of hit this big group up, right? 4 members in. And like I said, if Zia can kind of play these off lanes and BTK is okay with that, BTK can win out in the macro here.
Yeah, oh, look at the damage already. Walks into the wrong bush. Mobazane is waiting, finds himself a target, but now it's a sandwich. Divine looking for the stun. Mobazane gets hit with it. And the ultimate coming out from Bane. That might be all. Might be all of it for Zia, who gets taken out by Joyboss just like that. Godspeed turning this around on BT. Just like that. And I thought Zane had himself a clean pick off. Godspeed are there to answer.
Yeah, 2 for 1, and not just any 2 for 1. You get Mobazane, you get Zia, you get the 2 heroes that are kind of scaling right now, and they're going to find a tower in it. So a great come up for Godspeed there, evening out the gold pretty much right before Turtle 2. So this could be a great step in the right direction.
Yeah, Divine comes in there, putting a little bit of a damage. Fly Chicken finds a pop-up onto 2 members. Not much else. Sairi starting on this turtle. Restart. Oh, we do have the deadly catches out. Shiro able to find the next turtle as well. A tie game right now, despite 2 kills in the up for BTK.
And that deadly catch is just so clutch, right? Because, oh, wait a second, Divine Judgment.
Fly Chicken's gonna have to use that Primal Wrath, still gets the shielding from it, and is able to find himself an escape.
And that's the combo I was talking about, right? The Divine Judgment paired up with the Speedy Light Wheel is essentially a death sentence for anyone right there. A little bit of damage from Zane, though.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to focus on Syra, who gets caught by the Avatar of the Guardian. Mobazane goes down. Shiro finds the kill there on the back end. Shark looking to make them pay, but the running speed from Godspeed as they disengage more than enough to go ahead and find them and escape.
Sire for the price of Zane. I mean, it's a good trade at first, but eventually that trade isn't going to be as valuable. They need Sire to scale. They need Sire to get these 3 items locked in, and especially since Zia's just having the time of his life on the other sides of the map right now. It's definitely going to be a problem as this game moves into the 10+ minute mark if Sire cannot get completely online. Taking a look at him, all he's got is the Scythe in right now, to whereas we take a look at Zia, he's got DHS, he's got Scythe, he's even got a little defense there for good measure, just to make sure he can take that extra bit of damage. So that's going to start to show as this game moves forward.
Yeah, and especially with what a Claude can do to an enemy team when he starts getting those items. Like, you're talking about damage that isn't just a one-person focus. It's going to be able to spread onto the entirety of the team to points where Shark, where Hoon, where Mobazane are going to be able to come in and finish the job. Joyboss catches a pop-up, checking the bush. The rest of BTK disengage back to their tower.
All right, let's take a look at it. BTK still kind of playing these off lanes, looking for more pressure on the top, letting Zia bring those minions down. Baj, though.
Mobazane, they're trying to chase. He kind of does get away with those enhanced chains. That's going to be able to find himself a little back door to get away from the team there. Oh, Sanguine Claws onto Shark, taking him down. Avatar the Guardian is out, catches Shiro.
Shark's been practicing with that AOG, man. He's been practicing with that guitar because he is landing them this time. He is coming in clutch. He's not the engager. I think with the guitar, you don't always want to be the engager, right? You want to maybe be the second one. Get the enemies when they're already moving a certain way, and then jump on them when they're in the middle of fighting. I think that really higher the odds of landing that skill right there. And Shark's just been landing them back to back.
I want to say that you just brought up like the perfect point. Now, something I was going to bring up about the Avatar, the Guardian going out, and the difference between Godspeed using it when nobody is attacking the team and BTK using it as like as we talk about it, Divine Judgment goes on, pulls Shark under the tower. But when the Avatar, the Guardian goes out onto a member that's already engaging your team, you have pretty much doubled your chances of success with that ability.
Most definitely. And now Lord crashing down. They should be able to get that tier 2. Godspeed's going to have to step back, right? Unless they get a cheeky pickoff, I don't think there's a whole lot they can do right now. They're biding time. They're waiting for Sire to get online. They're waiting for Restart to get online. And they're waiting for Shiro. I do think they have more damage than they did last game, right? So maybe the online comes a little bit earlier, but that also opens them up to getting pushed in a little bit harder earlier on.
Yeah, I want to say when it comes to right now, Restart, I mean, we're at the 10-minute mark, and I want to say Restart is a lot more behind than he was the last game, because I'm seeing him connect with his damage, but it's really not. Oh, Divine Judgment comes out there, catches Mobazane, all the damage onto him. Joybosh does find the final hit there. That's going to be Mobazane down, but still 91 seconds next to the next Lord, so I want to say not too bad for BTK, as they'll still have Mobazane up for the next Lord.
Listen, Baj could know that Zia is the biggest threat right now, but he is still going to target Zane every time, man. I mean, like, it's like, if I can't get Zane, I'm not engaging right now. And you know, back in the day we used to say any team that Zane was on, you bully Zane, the rest of the team starts to crumble, right? You get in Zane's head, and the rest of the team starts to crumble, and that seems to be Baj's strategy right now.
Yeah, and actually goes to find himself another Divine Judgment to flicker out by Fly the Chicken. Shiro going to go ahead and put the final touches onto that mid tower, doing a great job trying to macro up for his team. 32k to 34, favor to BTK.
All right, Godspeed slowly kind of pushing back. I mean, BTK still has a nice gold lead, but we are starting to see Godspeed output a little more, a little more, a little more. It's looking very reminiscent of game number 1. And I mean, at what point in the clock does that really change? When does it flip for Godspeed? And does BTK still have a chance when they get into late game? I mean, they do have set potential, right, with Shark, and they do have plenty of macro potential with Zia. It just doesn't seem as easy for them as it could be in 5 minutes for Godspeed.
Yeah, I mean, right now, 8 seconds on the clock. A good positioning for BTK here, and that's the difference right now for Godspeed and BTK. BTK have a firm position. Godspeed need to force their way in to be able to kind of find an angle, and they already know nobody's near, so they're going to be able to burst this down. It's just Divine there who's going to be taken for a little bit of a ride there with an IMU Divine Judgment. BTK, a very clean take of that Lord.
And they haven't, that's the second Lord they've done that to, right? The second Lord they've just bursted down. They haven't been wasting any time with it. I think it's the right move. They're finding those moments when Godspeed is maybe a little bit too far enough on the map, and they know how fast they can burst it down. Taking a look at the items, Zia is almost completely decked out. He's 9.5k gold. He's got his Malefic Roar now after his Trinity, and he's going on to the next one. And then he can just kind of start juggling if he wants to at this point. I'm wondering if he's going to go for Wind of Nature here maybe, and then kind of dance around with that, an Immortality, a Winter Crown, kind of just make himself as, I mean, at that point, Zia's almost impossible to kill unless they get the Divine Judgment onto him.
Yeah, and he's about a 2k gold lead over a Sairi right now, who has yet to kind of come online, sitting at 0-2 and 3, hasn't been able to find the angles, hasn't been able to get close enough to actually deal out that damage just yet. Lord coming up at the top line. We do have the Deadly Catch out, but this is going to be the wraps for that top tower. Now starting to put the pressure onto mid, the entirety of BTK.
Oh,
moving as a group. Joybosh comes in with the looking for a Divine Judgment, doesn't land it, unfortunately for him. And now Avatar the Guardian deep into the back line. BTK dived in onto Godspeed, but now look at the tower damage going onto them right now. Mobazane gonna have to use those enhanced chains to find himself an escape. 0-6 to 0-8 in favor of BTK.
And Divine hits a beautiful Raging Sandstorm flicker there to stun down onto Mobazane, to stun down onto some of that back line, and that opens up for the rest of the door to secure that kill onto Fly Chicken and secure that kill onto Hoon and gets them all stuck under that tower long enough. So, I mean, everyone on Godspeed, man, has just been kind of stepping up to the plate, and what we thought was possibly going to be a 4-0 is a very even game. Yes, BTK, I mean, they're winning this one. They're taken an inhibitor. Godspeed down to nothing but 2 towers, but there's still a lot of play potential. BTK, I think, needs to wrap things up. There's 38 seconds for this next Lord. They need to make it count. Godspeed, on the other hand, I think needs to think about positioning here and finding a good spot around this Lord before the Lord is up.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing too. You don't want this to start coming down to a 50-50 chance where both teams have max items. You want to finish this while you have the advantage. Right now, BTK, despite some disappointing plays, still have the advantage firmly in their position. Godspeed doing a good job now, starting to set up for this next Lord.
All right, so let's see how things turn out. Godspeed does have positioning over this Lord. Shark trying to come in. I mean, I think Zia honestly should just play long lane at this point, man. They shouldn't even try to force this Lord. Play the macro. They have more speed. And you can see Zia kind of like playing with it, like he's moving back, he's coming back in. He's like, do you guys need me? Should I go? We need some decisiveness from him and the team.
Yeah, and here's what's going to happen. As soon as he shows himself at this bottom lane, I want to say Godspeed is going to probably look at this as an opportunity to maybe go in. They're still kind of being a little hesitant here. Oh, we have a conceal play well into the back line, led by Joybaj. They don't find anybody on BTK, but they do find themselves some positioning that might actually shock Mobazane or Fried Chicken if they go up there a little too hesitantly.
And that's a dangerous spot. Fried Chicken walks right into it.
Yeah, we do have the Avatar of the Guardian there. Fried Chicken getting bursted down. Shiro finds the kill there. Shark on the backside as well. Mobazane finds a kill onto Shiro, and restart is down to Zia as well. Finds a second kill there. Down goes Divine. 4 members of Godspeed are down, and just like that, a controlling lead by BTK. They're not even going for the Lord. They're looking to finish this.
Yeah, and I mean, it's 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 22 seconds on the clock. A bunch of members of BTK and the minions. That should be it.
Yeah, Joybaj's not going to be able to do much but watch here. And a decisive reply coming from BTK.
All right, so it's 1-1. BTK comes back with a strong win. They come in clean. I mean, and they perform well, and they even kind of switch up the strategy a little bit. Zia starts playing the off lanes. Mobazane and Zia kind of play more wide than just being tight with the team. BTK shows that they're more than just a one-dimensional team, I feel like, in that game.
Yeah, and even with the advantage there, I want to say the gank coming out from the side of Godspeed there, BTK still able to answer back because the person who was getting ganked was Fried Chicken, has a lot of that tankiness, had the Thunder Belt there, was able to withstand the damage while the rest of his team answered back. They didn't even focus on the Lord. 0-7 to 12 in favor of BTK here as we take a look at some of the damage stats.
Yeah, taking a look at some of the damage stats. Mobazane actually dominating with 49,000 over the team. Zia closing in behind that, and I got a feeling that gap was going to close more and more and more as it moved forward. And taking a look at Godspeed, man, the big problem was Toru, man. Sire was never really able to get online. Damage taken, Divine as well seemed to constantly be the one to jumping in, and I feel like Joybaj is a little bit better at that, and they needed Joybaj to be that more set, group set worthy roam instead of just a single focus down roam.
Yeah, and not just that, but sometimes the targeting doesn't really benefit BTK. They were starting to find some of the tankier players on the side of BTK, even sometimes finding Shark, which is not, I mean, you take down Shark, but you waste all of your abilities to take him down, and then the rest of BTK closes in around you. Definitely, I want to say a different play style there from Joybaj, and I'm not sure how much it really benefited the team, especially in some of those team fights that we saw there, as we take a look at some of these highlights.
Yeah, taking a look at the highlights, this is early on in the game. BTK immediately gets a huge lead in the beginning there. I mean, they're leading 4-0, and then we start to see Godspeed come back. They get the kill onto Mobazane, and they really start to focus down onto Mobazane. Joybaj just continuously targeting him, even up here at the top once again, trying to take down Mobazane. They lose Sire for the price of Mobazane, which at this point, 7 points in the game, I feel like it wasn't worth it as much then. I think they really needed to start switching gears about halfway through that game and focusing more on Zia than focusing on Mobazane. And that might have been the downfall. That might have been where the mess up was. Either way, BTK has enough of the lead, and they're able to take themselves to the victory. Here's the big last fight. And Divine does a beautiful flicker sandstorm, gets the big stun, gets everything they want, but it's still not enough.
Yeah, and I want to say like a big difference there when it came to those AOGs there from Shark is catching 2 members every single time, 3 members sometimes, able to get in there and then grabbing the aggro from all of them. A great job by the whole of BTK there. And so I think now it's time to talk about the curse that you put onto BTK at the beginning of this cast, saying that they need that 4-0, that they need to show that dominance.
I mean, I'm just saying, man, it's the cracks are showing. I mean, we all know you never count BTK out, right? They've proved so many people wrong so many times, but Godspeed just proved a lot of people wrong, taking game number 1 and making this a tied game. It's 6-6-6. I want to go back to another prediction I made. All Godspeed has to do is get 2 points. All BTK has to do is get 2 points. And that raises the probability of Maple Leaf getting knocked out by a whole lot.
And well, I mean, one team here is going to get 3 points. So no matter what, or
well, no, you don't get a point for game
3
5.
Points.
You don't get a point for game 5. That's just the decider. That's the winning.
Oh,
that's the winner
right.
decider.
Okay, so
yeah.
Then,
You only get 2 points. Game 5 is just to see who wins the draw, pretty much.
Well, I right now it's Godspeed need to kind of pull it together. This is the kind of the difference we see, and what we were talking about before, when a team takes a loss, whether they can bounce back from it, whether they can get it out of their head. We saw from the first series here, Maple Leafs had a huge issue as soon as when they took the loss. They were able to find some signs of life, but just not able to get that W in their corner. Here, BTK takes a loss. They've been in this position many times before, so it's not something that's completely different to them. Able to regroup, focus on their strategy, redo their composition, and came back very strong, get themselves another W to tie this from Godspeed.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, like, does Godspeed just kind of go back to that initial game 1 strategy, double fighter off lane, create the box, let Baj be that roam? I mean, I guess they could still test out picking up a gold laner, like still go for the gold laner, but I really think Baj having a dive-worthy group set roam is going to be huge for this team. Someone that can really, because Baj has the ability to make a play to change a game, and I think that's the type of hero he needs to be on.
Yeah, and then you took the words out of my mouth. For me, the biggest thing is that Joy Baj is on something that has the setting potential for his team. Not just that one fur where he can grab one person and the rest, then you have to rely on the rest of the team to kind of be able to burst it down. In fact, there were many times he got the Divine Judgment. The team tried to burst it down, and they were still able to get away. The first game, completely different story. Able to find members, get those setting potentials, able to kind of keep them CC'd down for long enough for his team to be able to do enough of that damage. And then also maybe some of these we saw when it came to the gold lane, maybe the carry not the best pick when it comes to some of those. It takes a little bit long. Carry has to get very close, especially from a composition that BTK had that was very mobile, able to close the distance very quickly, and that's a problem for carry, especially in the early game where you need a lot of peel. You need to kind of create some distance for them to get that speedy light wheel, be able to get those auto attacks off to actually put on the damage. Okay, so this time Godspeed back on the red side, the winning side so far. So far, red side has won both games. The Hylos gets let through, and there's no Cecilion, no Bane, both of them being banned out. BTK putting some respect on those picks from Godspeed, and this forces Godspeed into a situation where they have to do something different again in game number 3. Yeah, and this is going to this basically means they're going to have to go with something, a completely different composition, completely different focus than what they had. With the Bane, you have the focus on the objectives, you have that late game clearing potential from the Sicilian. Here, they're going to go ahead, they're going to scoop up the Matilda. They've got some CC and tanking ability coming from the Ruby, whether that's going to be in the marksman or in the gold lane or the XP lane is yet to be seen. But on the side of BTK, they're going to go ahead and scoop up Harith.
I mean, and there's a lot of just a lot of power picks on the side of BTK right there with the Gatot, with the Hylos, Zia getting a comfortable pick in Harith, all kind of solid picks. Godspeed on the other hand, I mean, the Hayabusa is open. They could go for something aggressive like that instead of the Bane now that there is no Bane. There's also no Alpha, so they're kind of forced into this pocket where maybe they have to go for an assassin pick. And with the Haya being open, if Shiro has that in his pocket, it's time to pull that out.
Yeah, and then that kind of leaves open where we're going to be going for the side of BTK. I mean, Mobazane has even shown he's able to put out the Nolan as well. He does have some assassins under his belt that he goes with. I'm not sure how well Nolan works here, though. He doesn't really have a lot of early game to kind of help him along as well. Potentially, maybe you can use it as a split pushing tool that we've seen from other teams like Cloud9, where the Nolan doesn't really favor it in some of those team fights. So you're using him to kind of clear out the rest and create that pressure in some of these side lanes here. Godspeed, they pick up the X-Borg before banning out the Valentina.
And I mean, the X-Borg, it fits into their ideology of, like, you know, their compositions. If this X-Borg is jungle, it could also be the big hole in their armor, right? The fact that maybe Shiro doesn't have a Hayabusa in his pocket. Maybe Shiro doesn't have that type of option. And Godspeed is falling into the more one-dimensional slot of compositions where they just kind of have to play this steamrolly comp where they all stick together. They pick up the Matilda, unless, of course, this X-Borg faults over into the XP lane, right? It could be XP X-Borg, Gold Lane Ruby, and they're just going to surprise us all here.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of like about Godspeed's draft right now. We're kind of, they're a little flexible, a little fluid about where some of these could go. So it's kind of hard to prepare up against. Lilia taken off the board. We're still waiting for those next bans. I'm assuming that we're kind of, there's, for me, the really kind of interesting thing here, a Soyu ban. On the side, and that's the interesting thing. I was going to say that there are no real jungler bans out there for either of these teams, so they're kind of leaving that kind of wide open for both of these teams. But Soyu taking off for whatever reason on the side of Godspeed.
We're covering our bases, Private. We're covering all of our bases, and that could be the wild card. You know, you gotta cover the wild card. BTK on the other hand has a very straightforward plan. They're going to ban out the Lilia. They're going to take out some of these mages. I'm wondering if we just see Mobazane once again, you know, pick up the Julian. He played well on it last game, could definitely work, or go for something like the Nolan. Plenty of options. At this point, with the Gatot and the Hylos, you have a nice solid front line. BTK's compositions for and what they picked, yes, it's very straightforward on where these picks are most likely going. But it gives a lot of freedom, I feel like, to what Mobazane and Hoon want to pick.
Yeah, interesting here is that they take out the carry. So apparently BTK definitely doesn't think that this Ruby is going to be going to that gold lane. They think that that's still open right now. Still 29 seconds to see that first pick coming up. Right now, this draft is kind of like all up in the air. There's so many options out there for both of these teams to go into, whether it's the mage and jungler side for BTK, or the probability of different answers on the side of Godspeed, because I don't know where two of these picks are going to be going.
Yeah, it's definitely very debatable. Godspeed, right? I'm still wondering if they're going to pick. All right, so they do pick up a mage, so that doesn't really tell us too much, honestly. Very similar to the Sicilian style of backline burst damage, waiting for the chance to shine. It definitely fits Restart's MO in terms of mages, and it fits Godspeed's playstyle. The Nolan gets picked up for Mobazane. They also still need a mage, and Vexana's open, Aurora's open, Chang's open. There you go.
All right, that's a interesting pickup for the side of BTK. I think
I'm flashbacks.
Really
Remember last time who picked up Chang?
Leaning into the Gatakacha and the Hylos kind of running into the front line, getting an immense amount of CC, the taunt coming out from Gatakacha as well to kind of hold them steady while that meteor shower goes out, and Hoon just switched with Shark. Oh, okay, they switched back. I was about to say, man, they're killing me here. And we pick up the Fanny for Shiro.
Okay, so they do slot the X-Borg into EXP. They slot the Ruby into Gold. They go back to kind of very similar of the playstyle of what they brought in game number 1, except this time instead of the more stable, solid, just walk with your team Bane, you have Shiro on the Fanny. I think we saw Shiro on the Fanny last week, and it did not live up to my expectations. Hopefully this time Shiro proves himself.
Yeah, there are a few things that happen depending on how well. I'm very interested in this early game right now to see how well it goes for Shiro, because that's going to tell the story of how well this Fanny is going to perform throughout the game. But ladies and gentlemen, 1-1 apiece. BTK taking on Godspeed. Their future in the playoffs up for grabs.
Yeah, a lot on the line for both of these teams, honestly. And we can no longer say just for Godspeed or just for BTK. Both teams need more points. Both teams have an opportunity to steal second place here. So anything can go. Like I said, last week I saw Shiro on the Fanny, and there was a couple weird cables. He just felt a little slow on the Fanny. This time, if he wants to keep up, he needs to step up the pace a little bit. He needs to make sure he's landing all of those cables and be as aggressive as he can. Especially with Hoon being on this Chang, Hoon has no big flicker, right? I mean, he has a flicker literally, but the hero itself doesn't have a flicker skill. So there's a lot of opportunities to catch Hoon off guard in this game with the Fanny.
The only other thing here too is with Hoon on this Chang'e, you have a little bit of pressure to potentially be stealing a lot of those purple buffs from the side of Godspeed. Chang'e can throw out the meteor shower. It can pretty much one-hit those buffs very quickly. So it's something that Godspeed's really going to need to be aware of, especially kind of the threat coming from mid lane for a player or for a character like Fanny that really depends on the purple buff. And finds the kill onto MOBA Zane just like that.
There it is. That was what they needed. And the great thing too that I just thought about and just noticed, as long as the cable's going, the taunt does not stop you. So good ways for Shiro to get away. Not as much CC as maybe you would like to lock down the Fanny here. It was very well slotted in, and if Shiro keeps performing like this, maybe leads Godspeed to an early snowball.
Yeah, and just a great start for Godspeed. I mean, just keep on going with that. Shark coming in there, it grabs the aggro from the purple buff here, just trying to be a nuisance on this Gatakacha. The rest of the team not really pent on trying to help out Shiro, who needs some help here. He's getting his purple buff kind of stolen here. He's looking to get him to expend that retribution so that this next turtle won't be a problem for BTK. I don't believe he used his retribution, so he's still going to have that up and gets the turtle.
Runs over with the cable real quick. Bada bing, bada boom. Take the turtle. Get my purple. Find Zane. It's almost a 1K gold lead for Godspeed at this point. And Godspeed are moving, man. They're moving around the map. Zia in trouble.
Yeah, 3 members of BTK coming down to answer the call. Zaman Force is on the ground, so no worse for wear. Our BTK Godspeed going to have to back off.
This is a different Godspeed than what we've seen in the past 2 games, right? It's much more quick pace. Yes, restart still kind of hanging out like a tower in the mid lane, but Godspeed's okay with that type of composition. They're okay with him just farming in mid as the rest of the team moves around. And this time the rest of the team has a lot of availability to move around, with Baj jumping down to the bot, Sire getting a nice I'm offended onto Zia here.
Oh, we do see the Astral Echo from the backside. Shiro coming in, looking for the cutthroat. Is not able to find it, but Joybaj comes back. Avatar the Guardian comes in, taunted onto 2 members, and down go. No, Shiro able to get away. I don't think he has health. There's an error with this game.
That was messy, man. And Godspeed, we saw it with the tower last time with MPL. We're definitely in the 0% bug right now. But no, Godspeed, big whiff right there coming down, man. So close to getting Zia. Maybe not a whiff. Zia with the outplay. Zia cleanly dropping the Zaman's Force. And then Shark coming in too in the nick of time. AK Big Brother Shark saving out the team members.
I mean, in fairness, Godspeed, I would have expected them. I thought they were going to take a death there, especially that Avatar the Guardian going in on 2 members who were under tower. So that was very, very lucky for the side of Godspeed, as they were able to disengage still, even with that, I want to say, that little recoup from the side of BTK.
And Sire's doing a great job. Sire's actually winning out in lane right now, getting the rotations in very cleanly. And this is, like I said, this is a Godspeed we haven't really seen the past 2 games. We're only 4 minutes in, and they are already grouping up into 4 or 5 members. They are rotating quickly. They are all over.
Yeah, and you see right here, Shiro trying to look for another opportunity. Avatar the Guardian comes down. Shark looking to push away Godspeed, and Shiro still able to get the Lord. Now Godspeed looking to try to put on the damage. Mobazane finds a kill on to Joybaj. Out comes the Meteor Shower, though, putting on the damage to Godspeed, who's going to go ahead and back up 1-1 apiece for BTK and Godspeed.
Yeah, BTK is able to hold on. They get a kill. They might lose 2 turtles, but at least they get a lot of pressure and restart down. Zane might be in trouble, though. Should be able to get away. Shiro
not able to make him pay on the back end. Syrie comes in, finds the kill. Now Shark actually maybe being a little bit in trouble. Syrie putting on the CC. Joybaj from the back end, looking to help him out. Is he gonna see a guiding winds? No! Hoon finds the kill onto Joybaj. Now Syrie's gonna have to find himself an escape.
You know, it never seems to not surprise me. I mean, it never seems to surprise me, or it always surprises me, how much damage Ruby does, the gold lane Ruby does, man. Like, it's just a hero. I don't know why, but somehow we're only 5-6 minutes in, and Sire is just chunking people down, but BTK has definitely found a groove. They are still behind in gold, but Mobazane, even though taking 2 deaths, starting to find some moments where he's able to pick some people off, but we got to still keep our eyes on Shiro, because 1-0-1, the torment has only just started, possibly.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting how the next few minutes of this game go. Still 31 seconds left on the next turtle. BTK only about 900 behind Godspeed right now. So I want to say it could even go up to the next turtle that really decides who's going to be in the lead. Shiro does find Chicken, gets a stun for his efforts. Joybaj coming in with the guiding wins.
I mean, Shiro definitely not the greatest Fanny player in the world, but good enough to really, I mean, and I feel like Shiro's just getting better and better with it. Compared to last week, I feel like there was a few cables missed, a few positions where we could have moved faster. This week, still a couple angles off, a couple things off, but definitely stepping up the pace overall. It feels like all Godspeed's been doing for the past week is training for this game right now. Hoon stuck in this defensive mode on the Chang. I'm wondering when, like, what's this Chang really going to be as we move forward? Is it really going to be a game changer, or is it going to be, you know, a penalty?
Oh, Zia is going to get caught here, taken down by Shiro. Avatar the Guardian comes in, does not find its mark. Shiro with the cables to get him away from Shark's taunt, and they escape like thieves in the night right now. Mobazane tries to come in. I believe he got the retreat on that gold minion.
Again, you know, Shiro hits a couple curbs on the way out, but still gets the mark, you know, still, and they finally find Zia, which is huge for Godspeed. They've been looking for that gank for a while. They've been looking for that one for a while, and they finally actually, you know, lock in. And knocking Zia down, not only have they gotten kills on their damage dealer Zane, but they've also gotten a kill onto Zia, and this is going to set Godspeed even more ahead.
Hits a couple curves on his way out, messing up his rims a little bit.
Yeah, you know?
So it's not as pretty, but still, yeah, getting the job done, getting that transportation out there. Mobazane hiding up in the bush, now looking for an angle, and on the backside, Shiro, might be in a bad way here. A whole of BTK around him, and still able to find his way out there. Shark takes a whole bunch of CC. Syrie might be lost here for the side of Godspeed, and Avatar the Guardian comes out. Syrie gets caught there. The glorious pathway is out. Fly Chicken now charging the hills now into Godspeed territory. Zia finds a kill onto Joybaj, but Divine is right there spraying on the damage, getting those stacks onto Fly Chicken.
You know, you just said the name Divine, and I haven't even really mentioned him all game, and it's something he's just kind of flown under the radar, but an X-Borg that's 0-0-0 is a scary X-Borg at 10, 12, 13 minutes. Divine's just going to get harder and harder to kill. He hasn't lost lane up top. He's actually technically been winning, and Shark down! Shiro finds another one. But yeah, Divine's gonna be a tough target as this game moves forward.
Man, you put it right when you said that it seems like Godspeed has been training for this moment the entire season, because this is a completely different team than we've seen the rest of the season. Now, Joybuzz locking on to Zia, who has the Zaman Force out there, Fly Chicken trying to put on the defense. Is it going to be enough? Blown up by the last insanity of Divine. That's going to be one down. Is this going to be enough for Godspeed? Shiro finds Mobazane in the mid lane.
Oh. I just watched Mobazane's cam too. The classic Mobazane rubbing his eye comes on cam. They're just like, man, this is really happening right now. They all know. And it's all smiles on Joybuzz cam right now. I mean, they're feeling themselves. They feel good.
Yeah, they do. Hoon's going to have to flicker himself out. Meanwhile, Godspeed still focusing on this Lord, and that's going to be a clean pickup for Shiro. The rest of Godspeed going to disengage.
Okay. Big Lord. Over to Godspeed. AOG comes out, hits nothing. They're all good. And you notice how, remember last game, Shark, the AOGs were so clean when BTK was winning and they were doing well? And now we're starting to see Shark use these AOGs preemptively, more as engages instead of during the team fights. And this is more of the problem I saw when they were against Cloud9. I'm seeing some of those same issues come out from Shark now with the Avatar Guardian.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason being, like, and it's just not as successful. Maybe a little bit of frustration coming out of the side of BTK when it comes to kind of being on the back foot. And that's exactly where I want to say Godspeed wants to be right now. Big engagement comes out. Astral Echo giving them vision. Mobazane looking for an escape. Syri finds the cleanup there, even with Divine coming in with the last insanity just in case. Now Lord swinging away at bottom. Syri comes in between three members. Joybuzz on the side there, giving the guiding winds for the clean escape.
Okay. Oh, Shiro still wants more. He keeps coming, bro. He's trying to swing it.
Yeah, you saw Zia there thanking his lucky stars. Avatar the Guardian comes out there, does stun up to Syri. We do have a little bit of the healing coming up from Joybuzz with the guiding winds. Is going to pull him away to safety. I don't even know what BTK can do here right now, because every single engagement coming from Godspeed, they can't even punish them for, because right there, there's always a guiding wind to pull them out to safety. And Mobazane gets his clock cleaned again. Shiro picking up the kill. What is going on?
And his clock is definitely clean. His head is bald right now. The man's been getting trimmed down for a while, and the fight keeps continuing in the mid.
Yeah, and Zia gets taken down. Joybuzz finds the kill there right now. The lead firmly in the side of a Godspeed, looking at a 6K gold lead.
That is something right there. Godspeed 6. I mean, we're on 7K now at this point. It's raising every second. And Hoon on the Chang, man. The Chang. I'm so confused, and I'm having PTSD. Last time I saw Hoon on Chang, it was not a good day. I don't know if everyone remembers it, but, you know, it happened. And it did not work out, and right now it's also not, I mean, yes, he's 1-0-1, but his gold, man, he's so far behind. He's got 3 items locked in right now, and Restart is just having the time of his life.
Yeah, and we just saw that him unload a meteor shower that Syri basically tanked the entirety of and barely did 10% damage to him. That's just how far behind Hoon is right now on the mid lane and providing that suppressive fire. Oh, Shiro comes in, takes down Zia, is down for the count, bringing it to a 10-kill lead for Godspeed.
I mean, and here's the big thing too, because against something like an X-Borg, you know, there's certain picks. You want to be able to really burst down some of these heroes on Godspeed, and BTK just doesn't really have the answers to any of them right now. And even if Zia gets a couple big shots off on someone, the Ruby counters Zia. I mean, Shiro can come in and one-shot any of them at pretty much any time. You know, you don't say this very often, but right now it feels like BTK doesn't have any answers.
It's all going to kind of come down to these the fights right now. I mean, if anybody keeps it together, it's usually BTK. Even when they're behind, they're just looking for an opportunity. Right now, though, Godspeed is not giving it to them. They are on the offense. They're able to still find the pickoffs. They're pushing down. They're able to find these objectives as well, getting the Lords. They're refusing jungle. They're doing everything they need to do to win the game. And BTK basically is down to the point where they're looking for some type of opportunity that Godspeed can potentially give to them. Meteor Shower goes out to kind of clear up this lane. We do have the circling eagle onto Shark. Avatar the Guardian is looking to kind of get him back out of harm's way. Shiro comes in, finds Zia, and then escapes out into the night. The Lord up at top, trying to bring out the damage, charges into the top lane, taking down the tower to 25%. Now that is a high ground tower down. In comes Shiro again, looking for a target if he's able to find one just yet. Into the back lines, Fly Chicken defending his position against two members as Godspeed back off. Astral Echo is out. Shiro comes in, looking for a kill, is not able to find it, gets out, restart, finds a kill onto Shark. That is 2 down for BTK right now, and another high ground tower. Joybot comes in, finds a kill onto Hoon. The rest of BTK looking for the opportunity, but Joybot using that guiding winds, still keeping the shields up. Restart, and Joybot's very low. Are they gonna find a kill onto Mobazane? They do, and Aaron comes a last insanity. Minions pushing on the core. Godspeed looking to take the lead, 2-1 favor of Godspeed.
Look at Baji Boy. Look at Baji Boy. He's hype. I love it. Baji Boy, 2-1. 2-1. Godspeed with the lead, the back and forth. Are you not entertained, Private?
I was about to say, I don't know what happened, but Godspeed actually looks like they might want to win this thing. It's kind of crazy there, but a different Godspeed than we have seen throughout this entire season, holding BTK down to 4 kills to 14 here. What a dominating game for Godspeed.
Mobazane with the bronze, with the chocolate next to his name right now, 2-6-1. I mean, it's been multiple games of them just focusing down onto him, and even then, man, Shiro was all over him from the very beginning. The first kill of the game, Shiro gets it onto Mobazane, and it immediately slows down the pace. You pair that up with Hoong on the Chang, and it's just, you know, it slows down BTK's whole rhythm. And then this time, what Godspeed lacked in their previous game is they never really switched gears. Eventually they did, and they started focusing onto onto Zia. They started focusing onto some of the other heroes, and it just helped secure their dub even more.
What this means for me right now, I mean, just taking a look at this game, we were a little critical of Shiro on this Fanny. He had a few little mishaps the first time he took out this Fanny last week against Maple Leafs. Here, I want to say he probably played it a little safer, just came in looking for the kills and then got out. Even took a couple of taunts from Gatakacha, using those cables to be able to get away. Did such a great job here as you see him take down Mobazane.
I mean, we start off on these highlights about 5 minutes in, right? And overall, Mobazane does get some kills here and there, and even there, he gets to pick on a restart. But Shiro, man, like we said, I think Shiro's just been sitting on the cables all week long, because it's a very different Shiro than what we saw last week, and the whole team just playing a very different game than what we saw over the past 2 weeks. In week 3, Godspeed, as you said, I couldn't have said it better than myself. I think they actually want to win this thing, Private.
No, it's amazing, and this is what I love to see from a team starting to actually improve to such huge lengths to be able to kind of take on BTK here. But I want to say the story isn't all just about their skill level. BTK showing some signs of wear, showing some signs of maybe some frustration. The Chang'e pick, a little questionable for me, and I'm not even sure where it kind of fit into here. It didn't really have the role. As we started moving into the mid and late game, Hoon just started etching farther and farther behind, to the point where that meteor shower just was not doing enough to support the team with the suppressive fire.
Yeah, and they already had the threat of Shiro, but once Divine went through that game, not taking any deaths, once Sire started really going through that game, not taking any deaths, they had this front line that BTK just couldn't cut through. And look at that! Godspeed, number 2 in the standings right now. if Godspeed ends this 3-1, they will end this season as the second best team of season. All I want to say.
This is amazing right now, and right now it is, I never thought I would say it for this weekend. It is do or die time for BTK. They need a win here right now to take this to a game 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it is very important to get a win here. I mean, they like, and the reason I'm laughing is because it is very like they seriously need a win here. Because at that point you're going into like they did beat MPL, right? Did they beat MPL earlier this season? Because now we really have to start thinking about tiebreaker stuff. This is no longer just, we're not just hypothetically speaking anymore. We have to really start thinking about this. BTK has not played MPL right now. They're tied with MPL. So if they don't win this, it goes into like, and Gosu Nighthorde, for example, wins all 4 of their games tomorrow or something. It goes into serious. It goes into tiebreaker, it goes into tiebreaker for MPL and BTK. It goes into, deep rules. And right now, because neither of the teams have won, I can't tell you all the facts on that. I don't know what they all are now. This is unprecedented. But yeah, it's definitely interesting.
The thing is here, if BTK does not win this next match, all Gosu Nighthorde has to do is win their series tomorrow to, I want to say, boot out. To boot down. They haven't faced MPL. They haven't faced the Maple Leafs at all. So there's no tiebreaker in there for them.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Oh my God.
So if Gosu Nighthorde tomorrow goes like 4-0, it's crazy. We're into the draft though, so let's see what happens.
Well, BTK very wisely going to go ahead and take that Fanny off the board. Definitely don't want to see that. That's going to leave open the Bane for the side of Godspeed, but they're not going to pick it up. I'm wondering if BTK is going to go ahead and scoop that up very quickly.
I mean, hey man, the Ruby pick, I was a little like, okay, first pick Ruby. This time I'm like, yeah, first pick Ruby, bro, let's go. Let's do it. Zia definitely has to think about it. And because the Harith's not going to fly, right? Sire was bullying Harith that whole time. There is still the Matilda open. Joybaj made it work very well. And Godspeed has continued to show that they have plenty of options. Bane is still out there. Godspeed can fall back to the Bane strategy if they want here. They can pick up, Bane. They could go for the Bane X-Borg if they wanted. They could pick up the Bane Sicilion here. They seem to have a lot of options still, to where BTK has to kind of reach, I feel like.
Yeah, really interesting here. They go with the early game. They got the Vexana. They got the Arlot. You were asking for this for Fly Chicken to go ahead and pick this up a while ago. He's going to pick that up now. I like the Arlot pick. It means that Chicken's going to be, I want to say, he's going to be more part of these fights earlier. He's got a great amount of clear. He's going to be able to join these fights, especially some of these objective engagements. And we've seen how well the Arlot can be used to even get across the map for some of these. But in answer to that, Godspeed's going to go ahead, pick up the Khalid. And I want to say Khalid is probably one of the only answers to Arlot where it doesn't actually counter Arlot, but he's going to be able to clear the lane quickly as well, so that now you're keeping pace with Arlot trying to rotate on your team.
All right, so last time Divine played decent, but I still feel like, I don't know, Godspeed seems to do a little better with the really tanky offlaners, and Khalid might not be it. But still, we'll see how they pull it together. As long as I think we keep Joybaj on something that can move and groove. I feel like Godspeed can do something. They gotta move and groove, all right, Private?
I was wondering.
That's the win con.
I know we were kind of critical because we saw him on the Kufra. He had a very wide range of success with it, not so much on the Kaja, and we were wanting to see him on the setting potential type of roams. But he showed us with the Matilda that he doesn't need to be on those. He can even support the team. So
he can move and groove.
Indeed is what he needs to do on his roam. It's just kind of hit or miss right now. It's really kind of dependent on what kind of success he can find with some of his picks. Mobazane going to go on Old Faithful here, does not go for the main pick, goes and picks up the Julian here, and is going to ban out Ling.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest, Private. I got no idea what's going on right now. Okay, I'm not ready. I was not ready for this. My notes do not calculate. Okay. So yeah, let's jump into second phase. Alice Band. I actually think the Alice Band is solid because that's something I wanted to see Zia. I think that might have been the option to lean back to, especially with the Ruby Gold lane. There's not a whole lot of answers for that. Now, Zia could still, like the Claude, Purify Claude could do okay against it. He could fall back to something like the Moskov, but I really think, other than that, is there any other real, like, fightery gold laners that he can go for here? He could jump back to the Lunox. He played well on that.
I was going to say the Lunox is a good answer for the Ruby. It's going to be able to burst down the tankiness of it. Then you get maybe a glowing wand on it. You're going to be able to take down some of the healing from it. And it's an answer for the potential sets that could come out for Godspeed. If they're going to go with the assassin route as well, you're going to have the brilliance that'll be able to come out to negate some of that damage as well. But like you said, like right now, we're kind of really leaning on Zia, where you're going to have Hoon on a little bit more of a, I want to say, a better pickup here when it comes to that mid lane, something a little bit more dependable in the Vexana, the amount of CC that she can output in that early game damage as well. So it's looking a little better of a draft. A much better draft from BTK here, even with just these first 3 picks. And they're going to go ahead and take Matilda off the board for Godspeed.
And I love the way the Godspeed is just like, come on, Zia, pick up the Harith, man. We've been out the 1-1, we've been out the Owl. They're just like, yeah, you ain't go for it. And we do have the Claude get locked in, so solid pick there. Shark still needing a roamer. Does he fall back to something, you know, a bit more simple? Maybe just something like the Tig, something, you know, Edith is gone, but just something a bit more straightforward, nothing too crazy. Godspeed, on the other hand, we also need a roamer, need a jungle. Hayabusa open right now. He could play the Fanny, bring in the Haya this time.
Yeah, and that's going to be the interesting pick for the side of Godspeed. The big thing is that when it came to the Fanny, Fanny was able to kind of get in, get out. It didn't really put themselves into harm's way. The Bane, a little bit more closer, but still another one of those that had that utility, had the deadly catch to come out to be able to create that space. And we're gonna go with Old Faithful here. Shiro's gonna go on to that Bane.
And not only that, but the Kadita Roam. I mean, yeah, it's got to be Kadita Roam. Bodge on the Kadita Roam, man. Not something you see really at all anymore, but Godspeed has been continuously pulling out clutch picks, and this is Baji Boy we're talking about, and that is still an aggressive pick. My problem is it is a little bit squishy, and that's where we saw them kind of lack. And there goes the Tigreal pick for Shark.
Yeah, and especially with the CC that you're gonna see from Syri, they're looking for like the wombo combos. They have a lot. They have the CC that can come in with the Sandstorm. They have Syri with the I'm Offended. Even the Deadly Catch provides. So you have ample opportunities to get those the wave, the ultimate from the Kadita out there. But like you said, very squishy, and it's really going to come down to placement. And with Shark on the Tigreal, it's going to be very interesting to see how Godspeed deal with it. And man, I'm actually very excited for this matchup right now.
If anyone's wondering why me and Private are like, so I mean, that's the real thing. It's like, this is exciting, right? Like, this is nobody expected this to happen. You guys, we saw the caster votes, right? Every single one of us voted on BTK, and we were, I mean, the thought was that Godspeed just needed a point, right? Godspeed just needed to get on the board. Godspeed just needed to maybe get 2 points, but now we're in the discussion of Godspeed maybe 3-1ing BTK, and that is insane for NACT, right? Like, and that's I think I came into this NACT just expecting everything to be very straightforward this season, and Godspeed is a team who's throwing some wrenches into the plan of things.
Yeah, really making a name for themselves right now. We never thought we would be here. BTK fighting for their survival and potential of getting into the playoffs against a Godspeed who hold a 2-1 lead over them.
All right, so we're right back at it. Shiro back on the Bane. He's performed well on it. He does great. with the retribution, great with some of these neutral turtles. The real question is can Joybaj perform on the Kadita? Can restart? Can they create space for restart? BTK's big job, I think, as they've done in past games, is get to the back line, split up Godspeed.
Yeah, and that's going to be the answer too. We saw some of the points too where Godspeed was having some trouble trying to get to the back line. And we need to see that again coming from the side here of BTK, where Z is going to be untouchable, where he's going to be able to kind of get his items and be able to kind of get to that back line of Godspeed as we hit that mid and late game. But it's going to have his hands full, especially dealing with a Ruby in his lane.
Definitely. And it's just the Ruby. We've seen how well. It's not just any Ruby. Like Sire's been doing amazing on the Ruby, man. Just overall, especially when Sire gets involved. If Sire has a free experience of just farming up, the damage starts to add up. And there's some damage on a Shark.
Oh, and he gets caught. Shark and flickers back, but still gets caught by the back end of the deadly catch. Meanwhile, Fly Chicken going in onto Divine and Restart, defending his lane. That is one kill for the side of Godspeed, and they might be able to pick up. Looks like Zane looking for an opportunity to kind of get into their Hoon, backing him up. Joybaj comes in to separate Zane. Shiro picks up the turtle. Hoon finds a kill onto Joybaj. The rest of Godspeed disengaging.
Okay, so one for a turtle. They lose Baj. Overall, fairly even trade, I think. Godspeed does come out on top with gold, but honestly, BTK closes that very quickly.
And man, I want to say right now, Divine actually doing very well against Fly Chicken in the lane right now, even with that when it comes to the R-Lot and the amount of offense that R-Lot can output. So doing a really great job, and I want to see how much of an issue this might become with some of these next objectives.
Yeah, it feels so strange that like BTK hasn't been favoring this R-Lot early on. I'm an honest believer that right now the R-Lot is probably the S-tier EXP laner right now. He is a game changer. I think he pretty much outplays just about. He's honestly probably the best EXP laner I think you can pick right now. And they just haven't really been picking up. So I'm glad they finally lock it in the end here. It could be the pick that defines the game here.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially when you adding that final slash into some of these objective fights. 49 seconds left on this next turtle. We're going to see if it becomes a part Divine and Shiro and Joybaj looking to come in onto BTK. Not exactly finding the angle, but it looks like they're trying to set up a position. Now, three of them going on to Fly Chicken. Joybaj on the backside looking to close off his escape. Deadly catch is out. Fly Chicken goes in, gets petrified, and might not. He's going to use that flicker as well. Final slash is out, does miss two members. Divine takes a little bit of a stun there, and Fly Chicken finds the cleanup.
Yeah, and that's a big kill for Fwide, right? I think Fwide needs that to kind of keep up, and the fact that Divine goes down one, it's going to put Fwide in a nice position over the Khalid right now in terms of just scaling, in terms of pushing. Divine loses, though, that wave right there as well, loses some EXP, and overall, in coming into the second and third turtle, it's going to help BTK out a lot.
Yeah, I do like the Astral Orbs coming out from the side of Restart. Does force a Fly Chicken to back off. Shark takes a lot of damage. Joybaj comes in onto Mobazane. Deadly catch is out. Is Mobazane going to find the angle? He does not. Shiro finds himself a second turtle of the game.
And now that's another turtle over to Godspeed. So Godspeed hanging in there like we've seen them do multiple times. Not only are they hanging in, they're leading in gold right now. So you could almost argue that maybe BTK just hanging in there. Godspeed, though, keeping it clean. Let's take a look at the items right now. Shiro sitting at about 2,800 whereas Zane 2,700. So Shiro's getting the upper hand. Shark, though, landing some nice implosions. And there goes another kill possibly.
Yeah, that's going to be Divine taken down there. Great. Oh, final slash comes out, but nobody there to help with the kill onto Restart. And Shiro up at the top, meanwhile, finds himself the first tower of the game.
And that's another kill onto Divine, putting him, Khalid is good, but if he falls behind too early, it's going to start to become a problem. He's the big engager, and when he wants to bring these big engages, if he just gets bursted down, it's going to really kind of put a wrench in things. But Godspeed's still holding the lead.
Oh, Shark might be caught here. It takes a whole frontal assault of damage, and the Astral Sphere is more than enough to take Shark down as he's looking for an escape. Syrie dives in after Hoon almost eats a turret shot. Mobazane from the side looking for an opportunity, is not going to be able to find it. He's in a bad way against two members. Syrie not able to close the distance.
All right, so tower for tower, roamer for roamer. Both teams going back and forth right now. Restart, I want to take a look at mages right now. Hoon sitting at 3-0-1, which is going to be huge for the Vexana. On the other hand, Restart 1-0-0. He's having a slow start right now. And this is the same thing we've seen some Restart just about every game, right? Wants these end game mages, wants to just hang out, and I don't know if it's going to cut it this time.
Ooh, actually Divine jumps into an implosion to try to save his team member, and now he's gonna cost them 2 potential deaths here. He's trying to get his health off, is gonna use that ultimate to find and escape. Deadly catches Hoon. It does. Shiro finds the kill there. Final Slash is out as well. Fly Chicken finds the kill onto Shiro. Mobazane in a little bit of trouble. Syrie gets pushed out from Shark there. Immobilized now, looking for an escape. Fly Chicken dives in after, takes a turret shot. Astral Sphere comes out, but it's going to set up this next turtle fight for Mobazane.
Yeah, and Zia also, I mean, in the midst of all that, Zia doing his job, just like we saw in game number 2 on the Claude, hanging on to these off lanes, keeping pressure, playing away from the team. And this is the BTK that I think we want to see, right? This is the BTK that BTK fans want to see. A bit more spread out, a bit more willing to make plays happen, having faith in Zia as a fast-moving gold laner, to where even when they were behind in gold a minute or two ago, they still seem to have control over the map.
Yeah, and the control, like, it's starting to spread here. Not only about a 1K gold lead, but when it comes to kills, when it comes to the spread and the force onto the towers right now, they're still doing a good job, especially against a Bane right now, who usually favors some of these. Mobazane gets caught, popped up, and taken down by Divine. Zia tries to come in with a blazing duet of his own, trying to punish Joybaj, who gets a lot of that health back with his passive. Hoon finds the killing bro. Syrie in trouble, catches an implosion for his efforts, trying to get the healing up, but taken down by Flied Chicken. Divine gonna look for an escape as the rest of BTK come to take down the minions at mid lane.
What did I say, man? Even if Baji knows his team will lose out in the fight, if he has a chance to kill Mobazane, he is going for it, man. I don't care if it's going to be a 2-for-1. He's open. We're taking him. Godspeed, though, do find a tower in the boss side. Towers are at a standstill right now. Gold at only a 1K difference. Taking a look at the items this time. Let's take a look at these EXP laners. Fried Chicken feeling pretty good right now, going against Khalid, holding about a 400 lead, has a Thunder Belt in, working in on the next item, picks up a little bit of magic defense as well, and then gonna swap into Dominance Ice.
Yeah, and he's got a decent amount of items here right now. It's looking really good for Hoon. Restart's slowly starting to play the little makeup game here, but Hoon's in a very firm lead when it comes up to the mids. We only have 1 more second. Lord is going to be up. I want to say this is going to be the big time for BTK and Godspeed to kind of man up for these fights. Are they going to be able to take it? Are they finding their positions? You can see right now BTK a firm position, looking to kind of hold it against Godspeed.
All right, so with Lord up, right, Godspeed's doing what I think they did in some of their previous game, where they find a position over the Lord a little bit early on and let BTK come to them.
Oh! Big Final Slash goes out onto 2 members. Syrie gets caught there, popped up. Is that going to be enough damage? Hoon finds the kill. Shark in the back line finds Shiro with an implosion and a push. Hoon finds the kill there. Blazing duet by Zia, dives under the tower, still trying to take down Divine. Joybaj finds the kill onto Mobazane. 5-10 right now in favor of BTK. 2 down for Godspeed, 1 for Bloodthirsty Kings.
And Zia immediately transitions down to the boss side, keep pressure there, gonna make his way back up to the Lord now. They do lose Mobazane, so they can't, I don't think they can exactly rush this Lord. Shiro's not on the map, but he'll be up a little bit quicker, but still BTK gets a strong position. And then once they take this purple buff, this is what I think this will really start to catapult them a little bit ahead now. Baj needs to really start landing some big ults, I think, and that's what we've always kind of needed from Baj. If they can't, I mean, they need to stop maybe targeting Mobazane, and once again, go for Zia, go for Hoon. Target some of the other big damage dealers on the team.
Yeah, especially because Hoon is really kind of coming online 6-1 and 3 right now. He's really going to be a threat if they continue to ignore him, continue to kind of force it onto MobaZane. And Zia, I mean, he's still yet to. I wonder if he does have that Trinity build. He should have it by now at the 11-minute mark. So he's going to start coming into some of these team fights and really start pouring on the damage.
So still no Lord taken. Both teams taking their time. Everyone's farming up. Both junglers kind of making sure they got their buffs ready to go. Fried Chicken does use that final slash. Should be up again before this Lord gets, into a critical position. MobaZane locks into Crystal. Holy Crystal should add a bit more damage to him, but still MobaZane, man, it's tough on the Julian, man. Every time he goes in, he's getting just instantly melted down or grabbed up by Syra so that the rest of the team can burst him to bits. MobaZane has to approach this Lord carefully.
Yeah, you see him kind of baiting out this Lord, pulling. His team is nowhere in a position to really kind of help him with the Lord right now. Shark does find an implosion and a push. Pop-up lands on. That's going to be all that's going to be all of it for Divine. He gets taken down as Shiro and Restart backing off. This might be a setup that they're looking for. Now on the backside, look at the positioning of Joybaj on the backside. Rough Waves is out looking for the escape from Chicken, who dives in after him. Final slash. He gets petrified before the final slash can come out. What a move by Joybaj to be able to get taken out there. Shark now trying to zone out the rest of the team. A little bit damage on their Shiro with the deadly catch coming out.
Oh!
Duet from Zia onto the back line. Finds himself 3 kills. Down goes the rest of Godspeed, and Zane is going to pick up this Lord.
This is what they needed. Give Shark a hero that can set. Give Chicken a hero that can really set and make game-changing plays. And now BTK looking to tie things up.
Yeah, now they're pushing in to the core. MobaZane's going to use those enhanced chains to get away from some of the damage. And now the rest of BTK doing what they do best when they have the lead. They're going to go ahead, take away any advantage from the team, start clearing out enemy jungle. Mid lane coming in for the push right now. Shark in the front. Astral Echo is out. Syri comes in, looking for some CC, gets pushed into the back line of BTK. Deadly catch does not connect, and Fried Chicken finds a kill onto Syri. Deadly catch out on the Shiro does not find its mark.
All right, so with the Lord getting melted down, Godspeed should be able to survive here. Ooh, Zane Bosch, bro. Bosch.
I think you were absolutely correct. Joy
I'm telling you, man.
One
job,
one mission in this entire game, and that is to be a nuisance, to be the hell of MobaZane here and take him out. He doesn't even care. He's like, the no comes out. Joybaj, man, he's been so impressive here in these in this entire series. But I mean, right now, really trying to put the frustration onto MobaZane.
Bosch is just laughing as he's dying, pointing at Zane. Like, it's definitely entertaining. It's definitely what we want to see. And right now, BTK with this type of lead, about 7,000 up. The game seals pretty comfortably in their face. And, Divine, I'm not saying that Khalid is a bad pick, but I just don't know if it really fits Divine's playstyle, man. Divine does so much cleaner, I think, on those tankier guys. Kind of almost the opposite of Chicken, right? Where Chicken does great on these very aggressive EXP laners. Divine does so much better on these tankier EXP laners that can just hang out and create space for his team. And right now he's going in and he's getting taken down a bit too quick. He's getting caught off guard by Shark. Multiple implosions have landed onto Divine, and he's just not really able to hold his own out there by himself.
Well, and I think the question kind of came out is what can deal with the R-Lot in lane. And I don't think any of his playstyle, any of those characters that really favor his playstyle would have benefited in a lane against R-Lot. So he kind of just took the hit, picked up the Khalid for it. And right now he's kind of paying for it. Going to go in, try to get a little bit of damage on him. MobaZane, look at all the damage there. Down to 40% health from one move from MobaZane.
Yeah, once that Holy Crystal got locked in, Zane's going to start. It's definitely going to be packing a punch, especially on the squishier members of Godspeed. Sire feels like the only hero who can really, the Ruby feels like the only one that can really sit up close and personal with everybody. Also does a nice amount of damage, and look at Baj once again being a nuisance to the back line.
Yeah, Fly Chicken trying to chase him down, trying to create some distance. We do have a conceal play out there. Good job by the mage there to kind of spot Shark out. Ooh, and we do have the Ancient Guardian. The Eternal Guardian comes out, and Mobazane going to find himself another Lord. Unfortunate for the side of Godspeed. They're unable. Ooh, a final slash. Fly Chicken out there trying to put some damage on. Joybaj goes down. Rough Waves is unable to come out. The rest of BTK trying to chase down Godspeed. A pop-up onto Syrie, and Mobazane finds the kill from the backside. Zia coming in, trying to put the damage on to Shiro. Now minion waves at the bottom lane. Shark a little low. Shiro looking for the recoil from that Crab Claw cannon, not able to find its mark.
I'm waiting for that Crab Claw cannon to just start hunting heads. I feel like we're at a time span where if Shiro can land some of the right ones, it could be devastating. Lord coming out, and look at Divine just pulling it back. He's like, nope, we're gonna hang out here in the mid for a little bit, but he's got to get back to base.
Yeah, he has to get back to base. We do see the Winter Crown is out. A push from Shark. Hoon finds a kill onto Shiro. Joybaj finds one on the Fly Chicken. BTK tie things up with Godspeed. And you know what this means, Trex?
This means game number 5.
A bonus game here. Our first ever in the NACT. This is a landmark occasion here for NACT. It's the first time teams have taken it to one another here, and a great job here by BTK to come back in dominating fashion.
And who would, what game would we have wanted more from than, the Baj and Zane grudge match, the bromance, whatever you want to call it. It's definitely, I think this is the last thing we expected tonight, and here we are, Private.
Man, an amazing game right now. And you take a look at this. The one person I wasn't expecting to have such a hard time, Syrie. BTK did a really great job kind of focusing down, making sure that they became a nuisance for Syrie when he came in. Hoon kind of raining down damage onto him. 0-5 for this game, earns him the bronze there. And that's mostly due to BTK kind of holding the line against him.
Okay, so taking a look at some of the stats, damage dealt. Hoon actually leading the card right now, and we saw him early on. What was it? I think, how did he end that game? Like 7-8-1 and something. I mean, just early on he was 6-0-2 or something like that. Just completely monstrous on the field. And the combo between Shark and Hoon, the implosion and the Eternal Guardian, that's one of the things that just kept on catching Divine off guard. He's unable to heal up on the Khalid. Every time he engages, he gets caught off. And I think it's one of the things that messes up Syrie as well. That Eternal Guardian, every time Syrie wants to hang out in the midst of all of them, knock up. Boom. Enough CC to hold Ruby down for a minute to where they can actually burst down Syrie.
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing, is like you kind of, as long as, because where Syrie and Divine, they're gonna be center stage, and if you're just raining down damage, especially Hoon, who's just having such an excellent game for that last game, being able to throw down the Eternal Guardian, throw down the CC, and the immense amount of damage on there, really punishing those picks there.
All right, so game number, let's take a look at actually, let's wait for that. We'll take a look at the replays real quick. The first big pick off, Shiro with that deadly catch. And we see that they're trying to bring pressure, right? Godspeed comes with a very similar play style of what they did last game with Shiro on the Fanny, where they are kind of all over the map. You have Baj and this aggressive Kadita. But one thing Baj was having a lot of trouble with, and it seems a lot of the members of Godspeed were having a lot of trouble with, is they would go in, they would get stunned up, they would get locked up, and they would get taken out. And Zia just had free farm, and by the end of the game he was shredding. I mean, it just didn't really feel like this time Godspeed had an answer.
Yeah, and there was just, it was a ton with the way that BTK was able to chain together that CC and damage coming out. These picks really melded well together, and you were absolutely hit the button on the nose, is that Zia was able to have some breathing room. He didn't really have such a challenge in his lane, and he was able to kind of bring it forth onto the team once we hit that mid and late game.
All right, so I mean, at this point, sorry, taking a look at it, BTK, I mean, I feel like BTK just kind of dominated that game. Overall, we had the R lot right, and I think that was a huge game changer. I think Shark being on an aggressive roamer, huge game changer, and I think they just need to kind of stick with that composition. But that is also the same kind of composition. Like, I think the same thing we could be said for Godspeed, to a point of they need to stick what really works for them and keep Baj on something that can hang out, keep Baj on something that can move and groove and not die in 2 seconds, you know? Yes, Baj got a lot of great kills on Mobazane, but there's something that works for both teams, and I think it's going to come down to whoever executes it better.
Yeah, and we saw kind of a little bit of a falter. We talked about it a little earlier. Syri and Divine, there was really, I want to say that the Vexana was a huge answer for both of those picks, especially with them getting CC'd down. If you're CC'd and you're not able to actually actuate some of the moves that bring you that health back, you're going to have a problem. And right from the get-go, BTK did a great job. And I want to say, like, even that first play in the highlights there, where you saw like an entire team try to jump on the chicken, I want to say now BTK kind of coming online, especially Fly Chicken in there, and that defense there, able to come in, gets the final slash before the smoothness of that flicker out of the way, and then still having the life left to protect his tower. An amazing game there played by BTK, but that brings us to this fated bonus game 5.
Bonus round. I didn't even know we had a bonus round graphic. That's what I like to see. We've had in the clutch this whole time and haven't gotten to use it. But here we go. Bonus round time. I feel like I'm in a game of Mario right now, and we just found the secret level. It is Godspeed up against BTK. Private Dancer, you can recast your vote if you want. Who do you think is going to take this?
I'm still, well, here's some things to kind of throw out there. You mentioned it before. First pick has been the winner here for when it comes to this series. It's been who's been on the red side has gotten
red side.
The
yeah,
victory.
Second pick. No, second pick has been getting the victories.
Has it been second pick?
Second pick, yeah, red side. They just picked Ruby first. They lost. Last time they picked, red side has won every game so far.
So, I mean, and who's got red side this time? Is that going to be BTK or is that going to be...
I think loser picks. Loser normally picks what side they're on. I don't know if it's a back and forth. I didn't read that part of the rule book, but I don't know if it's a back and forth. Maybe we'll get clearance. We'll figure out. I'll tell you what. We're going to know in a few seconds. Godspeed's red side. My futuristic powers are telling me.
Yeah, so I mean, Godspeed on red side, so I want to say a little bit of a favor in them, but I mean, we're talking about BTK. They've been in positions like this before, where the pressure is on, where their kind of future in the playoffs hang in the balance. Is Godspeed going to be able to take this pressure and flourish from it, or will BTK kind of shine through?
Jumped into this one quick. Whole draft, half the draft is already down right now. We got a Lolita pick, we got a Ruby pick, we got the signature Lolita pick from Shark, Hoon on the Valentina. A lot of comfort on the side of BTK, but Baj picks up the Kufra.
And with the Lolita pick, with the Bulwark, you have the potential reflect of the deadly catch from Shiro. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, because I love playing Bane, and when I see a Lolita on the enemy team,
I love playing Lolita.
It's so annoying to have all your sharks coming back at you when you think it's going to be a great upset for the team. I do like the picks here, though. We're going to go on to Old Faithful for Joybaj. He gets onto that Kufra, who had such an amazing game and was, I want to say, a pivotal role for Godspeed in that first victory they had here. And Edith picked up here for Divine. You were talking about it earlier. You like to see him on some of those tankier picks where he has an answer or a potential escape with that tankiness, and it won't get bursted down as quickly.
I do want to point out Arlot is still open, which I feel like is a little bit dangerous here. I kind of want to see Godspeed maybe ban that out here. They ban out the X-Borg. I thought maybe they would maybe pick up X-Borg here and ban out the Arlot, but they go the other way around. So maybe they pick up the Arlot here. Maybe they steal it away from Chicken, because with that, and then, I mean, they could put... I guess, I mean, we've seen them go double fighter off lane. That's all I'm saying. I think at this point, they go back to a game one strat. Maybe they still pick up a marksman here. But they're in a weird spot, because if Chicken gets that Arlot, it's scary, man.
Yeah, well, and then I'm kind of trying to sit here as I try to think of reasons why you would not pick up the Arlots. I mean, he's done well. He's got an amazing amount. The Lu Yi left open and scooped up by Restart, who's had some amazing games so far. This entire series here. Now we're waiting on what the replies are going to be from the side of BTK.
I mean, the Lu Yi, I think, fits Restart's strat. Whoa, Su Yu?
Okay. So,
can he do it better than Best Player?
I'm trying to think of like where we can go positive with this. Right now, we saw even from Best Player struggled with the Su Yu when it came. The rest of his team was more than able to kind of make up for it. He does, but I want to say, on the side of Mobazane, this more fits his play style than it does Best Player's play style. Whereas he's used to those assassins who can get around very fast, who have an escape like that. Mobazane deals more with characters and junglers and probably feels more comfortable with junglers that have a little bit of defense on them.
All right, well, we'll see how it plays out. I do want, first, some clarification. We had a little clarification. This 5th game will give one of the teams a point. I was wrong earlier, I guess. I don't know, but this, maybe it's because it's the last week. But either way, this game will decide on pretty much who's jumping to that number 2 spot. So it's pretty huge, right? And this whole game right here, with what's already happened, it doesn't matter who drops, it gives a lot of opportunity for Gosu Nighthorde to sneak in. But that's enough of all that. I just wanted to clear up. This game does give a point and will pretty much secure a guaranteed on 2nd place of season.
Smash them.
Yeah, and it's all come down to this. I don't think anybody in North America thought we would see a Game 5 for BTK taking on Godspeed, who have really stepped up this series. But will it be enough to overcome, I want to say, the faces of North America in BTK?
All right, now, Baj already. The signature early on clutch play, and they're gonna have nice crowd control as well from Restart on the duality proccing, getting those yin and yang triggers. On the other hand, taking a look at BTK, I feel like they're gonna have probably better maybe wave management in the beginning and mid-side. Will be able to rotate a bit more. We already know Shark is very comfortable on this Lolita, and up against something, I mean, there it is right there. Up against the Moskov, up against the Deadly Catch, the Lolita could really be the game changer.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. And then not just the Lolita, but Shark's Lolita. The person who made Lolita part of the meta during M3. They're talking about somebody who pretty much knows the ins and outs of this character and what they can do and use them precisely.
Yeah, so I'm definitely excited for it. I think we're gonna have a much slower game than usual here. I think both teams knows what's on the line here. I mean, both teams at this point pretty comfortable that they're gonna sit in playoffs. So now it's just pride and glory, right? Now it's just who can really beat the other team, and that's what makes Game 4 so exciting here.
Yeah, and we do see the Deadly Catch come out. Shark and Mobazane gonna back off from it. No worse for wear. 11 seconds left on this first turtle.
Okay, so, you know, one thing Shiro's done so great with the Deadly Catch during these turtles, using it at the right time to make sure Mobazane can't get in to hit that retry, but I want to watch Shark's positioning here because he's going to try to get in between the turtle and Shiro and bounce those things back, and look at it.
Oh, and Mobazane, that was a great job by Shark to jump up there. He did exactly what you said he'd do. Gets right in the Shiro's face, allows Mobazane the room he needs to get that retribution onto the turtle.
And I think as long as he keeps doing that, it's going to mess up Shiro. It's going to mess up the whole neutral objective plan for Godspeed. And they're going to, I think the big target during these neutral objectives is going to be Shark.
Yeah, and right now, in comes a Shark. Does find Joybaz trying to create that distance and the safe space for Zia, who's actually doing a very good job on a carry against a Moskov. So, I mean, it's not something I want to say carry. I want to say is probably I favor Moskov a little bit more when it comes to the laning here, but still doing a great job of kind of pushing against it in the gold lane.
But still 0-0, still slow plays. He had just locked in the Corrosion Scythe, so we'll start doing a little bit more damage. I think Syra maybe slightly behind in lane, but maybe once he clears this wave, if he gets to clear this wave.
Oh, they go in, and Zia finds the kill on the Syri. This actually, they do have the diversion with the deadly catch, punishes BTK. MLBB goes down, and just when they thought they had the advantage, just when they thought they were going to be able to take a tower, just like that, a quick thinking diversion from the side of Godspeed. Find the reply.
I think it's hilarious how the only player that dies in that is MLBB. I'm just going to keep on hyping up this Baj Zane grudge match as long as this keeps going. I hope they play against each other in playoffs. It's going to be hype. This is such a great build-up for all of this. But yeah, beautiful defense. One thing, though, BTK does win out there. Zia gets a lot of gold plating. He gets a kill early onto Syri. He's got a huge advantage in gold lane this early on. We saw him lock in the Corrosion Scythe, and I don't even know if Syro's locked in his first item yet.
Ooh, Shark's gonna come up there with the bulwark right in front of Syri. They do get the rest of that gold plating off of that tower. This is gonna signal the next turtle coming in. Hoon gonna go ahead. Deadly catch comes on to two members of Godspeed. Restart is very low. Divine looking. Shiro still finds the retribution. Fly to chicken in trouble. Here comes the rest of BTK trying to put on the damage. Zia is not able to chase, and the rest of Godspeed gets away.
There goes that the same kind of in and out movements that Godspeed brought in game number 2, where they poke in, and then as they're backing up, they shoot out a crab claw cannon here and there. They shoot a couple shots to keep BTK wanted to chase them down there. They tried to, but Godspeed's been doing a great job. I feel like most of these games kind of with that kite back. So they get a turtle, they keep themselves in the game. They are behind in gold right now. I think at this point, does BTK, press the gas pedal?
Yeah, and that's where we're wondering. We do have a fight here. Shark in a little bit of trouble. Ooh, deal with the deadly catch coming out. Joybosh from the side. Numenon Blast comes out. Zia finds a kill onto Shiro. And I want to say Zia's doing such a good job, especially for such a hero that is such a late game hitter. Ooh, in comes a diversion from Restart and Joybosh, but not able to find its mark. Zia comes in there looking for some damage onto the rest. Syri looking for an escape. And Joybosh there hiding in the bush, kind of keep up that vision.
All right, so taking a look at it, BTK still holding a gold lead. Godspeed has been the first one to crack a tower down, though. So, I mean, it's still very open on either side. Taking a look at some of the emblems, MLBB did go for Warcry. Will help scale a bit. He is now building into, straight damage. It feels like he's been using more of the, the warrior stance or the fighter stance on the Suyu, able to do a bit more damage.
Oh, what a combo coming in. Deadly catch comes out. MLBB's gonna dive under this tower. He's looking for Joybosh. He's gonna make him pay. And then down goes Joybosh. Restart is next on the list there. But what a combo coming out from the side of BTK. You have Fly Chicken come in there with some CC, the Numenon Blast, and then the IMU deadly catch from Hoon.
I don't know, man. The more I look at Suyu, the more, I do feel like it has some mechanical pretense in it. It has a lot of possibilities. And I think it could be a hero that, after some time, might be used a lot more. I think there's definitely some possibilities there. Diversion, though.
Yeah, diversion with 4 members. Joybosh was ready. He was looking. He was headhunting for MLBB there. Deadly catch comes out there. Shiro in trouble there. MLBB finds a kill. Divine using his flicker might be in trouble. Numenon Blast shuts him down.
BTK playing a different game this time. We talked about Godspeed playing a different game since last week, but BTK these past 2 games has found some momentum, has found the rhythm, has been, I think, picking the heroes they need to pick, and has been playing fundamentally the way you want to see BTK play. Taking a look at the items, Zia almost already has that Trinity build locked in. We're only 7.5 minutes in, and normally the 3rd item gets locked in for a marksman around minute 9. Sometimes even minute 10. 7.5, 8 minutes in on 3rd damage item is insane, and just shows how far ahead he really is right now.
Yeah, and especially with how he was joining some of these fights right from the get-go, immediately becoming an issue for the side of Godspeed, coming in to try to rain down some of that damage, rotating from his lane very early especially for a carry. Now they're going to still try to put some pressure on to this purple buff. They decide against it, a smart move from BTK.
Most definitely. So now, Godspeed kind of more on the defensive, but we've seen them in this place before. BTK, I think, I asked the question earlier, do they just press the gas? And I think that's what they do, right? You have Zia with this huge lead. You have Mobazane with a good lead. You have Hoon deathless. You have most of the team deathless. And this is a time when they're kind of really feeling themselves, I feel like. And as long as they can keep the momentum down of Godspeed, they will be able to take a look. But look at this. Conceal play once again.
Yeah, diversion is out. Mobazane sees it in the pixel bush, and they have to decide against it. It's just like, oh, this isn't the bathroom. And then they all just disengage and go back to their side.
Fair. Very, very fair. But I do like the fact that Restart's not being stingy with the diversions. Use them as much as possible. It's what I like to really see from a Luyi.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now we're gonna go ahead set up for this next Lord fight. And I want to say Shark's been doing such a good job of blocking these deadly catches. Not just that, you're reversing a deadly catch. Then you have a deadly catch coming from Hoon with the IMU. Oh, we have the spear coming out there, but I don't think that Syri wants any of that. He's gonna go ahead and finish up this tower at the bottom, doing mosque off things with the split push.
Yeah, and it's a good play for Syri, and we haven't really got to see him flourish on a marksman per se just yet. I think Ruby's been his best pick, so this is a good time for him to maybe really show off, show off his chops a little bit, see what he can actually do. It's gonna be a hard game for him though. That Lolita is gonna punish so hard right now. It's gonna be and right now you can already see the way that Godspeed is taking some of these fights, that they kind of have to wait for the Bulwark Shield to go up and then use their skills. They have to really think about their timing in every single one of these fights.
Yeah, and Shark actually going to get caught by two members of Godspeed there. Still able to get out. Deadly catch is out. Fried Chicken takes the full front of that as minions starting to force their way through mid. Mobazane tries to come in, does not catch Shiro. Ooh, did catch him with that. I believe that's the Evil Queller, that arrow that kind of comes out from the Soyu. Ooh, Divine actually gets caught there. Traveling, tried to squeeze by BTK and is able to find an escape, but takes a heap of damage for it.
And one last added thing that I think is helping BTK out here is the Valentina getting the deadly catch there. The same strategy that Godspeed has been using against BTK when it comes in terms of ooh, wait a second.
Yeah, we do have an I'm Offended that does a lock onto Shiro. Oh, Zia finds a kill onto Divine. Joybaj in trouble. Deadly catches out. Mobazane finds a kill onto Joybaj, starting to make him pay for a lot of those earlier deaths. Hoon zooms in and out of the base to put some damage onto the minions, and a lot of pressure being exerted here by BTK at the line of Godspeed.
And there goes another deadly catch, gets some nice damage, and Shiro in trouble.
Yeah, he gets taken down. Mobazane dives into the back line. Is going to go ahead and find his... Dives in again at the core. Takes a decent amount of damage while the rest of BTK start focusing on these high ground towers. That's going to be two side lanes. There's no more high grounds. So quick. And I'm Offended. Locks on. Down goes Divine. Only three more members. BTK looking to close things out here. No one on blast. Lands onto three members. Joybaj comes in with the Tyrant's Rage. Mobazane finds the kill there. 50% left onto the core. Zia, and this is going to be game 5 going to BTK.
BTK comes in game 5 and shows them who's boss in a quick fashion, almost anticlimactic fashion. I mean, BTK just came in like, yeah, this is over. We're done. We're done having fun with you. I enjoyed the games, Baj. It was nice, but it's over.
Yeah, I mean, this was a complete difference. This was and especially with the new hero Soyu, really Zane just had a remarkable time on it. You can see there 8, 2, and 3. Also Zia sitting up there at the top of the mountain, 5, 0, and 2.
I mean, yeah, honestly, like I said, Mobazane showed that maybe there is some potential for this hero. Maybe there are some possibilities depending on the composition worked around it, but depending on what you're going up against. Don't know if it would fare amazingly against certain assassins and everything, but I think there definitely could be a place for it. We don't know quite yet, but it's cool that we at least got to see it today in NACT.
Yeah, and especially, like I said, I felt like maybe the difference in play style definitely benefiting Mobazane more than when we saw Best Player on this hero, who was having some issues really kind of getting along. Mobazane really was able to kind of find his mark, find the angles he needed to find a lot of those kills. Not just that, but when it came to Hoon and Shark, just had a wonderful game. And this is where BTK really shines when it comes to that mid and roaming position. Here's where BTK thought that they had a tower, but man, that big diversion play coming from Godspeed.
Yeah, beautifully well played, and I feel like this whole game, even when Godspeed had a few moments, this time BTK brought all the answers with the Lolita, with Hoon on the Valentina. It felt like every time either team won, it was it kind of came down to draft, right? It kind of came down to certain picks that just completely nullified what the other team wanted to bring. And in game 4 and 5, BTK brought that both times. Mobazane all over the place on this hero, making it look like he's been playing it for a while, playing it extremely cleanly. And even Hoon, man, bringing out those deadly catches. Just overall, BTK plays game 5 textbook.
Yeah, and what an outing for Soyu here, for BTK, and especially for a team like BTK to really show what Soyu can do, especially his first outing. This is the first week that he is available in the NACT.
Yeah, so excited to see where he goes on from here. Excited to see where, even with Godspeed losing, they pretty much at this point secure playoffs. It's all going to be a battle for the number 4 spot tomorrow. So yeah, Godspeed going to playoffs. BTK, second place in season. I think it's huge for both of these teams.
Yeah, it's amazing games played by both right now. And man, this series, it's definitely more than anybody could have asked for. 5 games here, the bonus game there, and BTK really pulled out all the stops for that last game. Like you said, they were done playing. They're like, all right, guys, we're just gonna hunker down. We're gonna execute the way we need to, and that's exactly what they did.
I kind of wish game 5 would have gone a little bit longer. It felt a little too fast. Oh, Liz, how you feeling over there?
Well, I want to know, Trez, what do you got on the players? You said you wanted a tie, and a tie you got, so I want to know.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm on point today. I'm delirious, man. That's all. Visions of the future.
But definitely. Yeah. Victory to BTK. They got the viewers clinching to their seats, but at the end of the day, they show that they can take the series swiftly. Even though in the beginning it was a struggle, and we almost thought something that never happened before in the previous NACTs has happened this season. But at the end of the day, they are still in the top 2 spot for this season.
Yeah, a great game played for them, and you can see here securing themselves second place and guaranteeing themselves a spot in the playoffs here from what was one of the games that was closer than I think any caster or anybody here even predicted, especially any of the viewers.
You know what's really cool about this? We're looking at the standings right now. Tomorrow, Overskilled plays against Nighthorde, and these are the 2 teams that either one of them just needs 3 points to get into playoffs, man. They just need 3 points to get into playoffs and knock Maple Leaf out, and they get to go against each other. So tomorrow's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting, especially knowing that MLC Maple Leaf actually won against Godspeed last week. So it's kind of surprising to a lot of viewers how Godspeed was able to put BTK in such a struggle.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Godspeed, we mentioned it during the cast. This was a completely different Godspeed who had been eating their Wheaties, who had their best haircut on, their best shirt. They were ready for this matchup. This is a completely different team than we have seen coming up, and I'm really kind of looking forward. I'm kind of hoping that they kind of continue this same type of momentum as we move forward.
Yeah, I think Godspeed definitely just, we still saw some weaknesses there. I think they still show that they're a pretty one-dimensional team in a sense. Like certain strategies worked very well for them, but if they stick to those strategies, it could definitely take them some places. Like there was in game number 2, there was really 0 answers, right? They were able to come in extremely strong and just pull out crazy things. So very well off to them.
And it even looks like they got a mini boot camp with Restart and Joybotch in the same room, on the same bed, playing together. So that is very interesting, but unfortunately we don't get to chat with the players. But the MVP of the series will be shown right here. Looks like the MVP is Shark. So you guys mentioned how strong his Lolita was, and he definitely proved himself with the later series that he is the menace in the roamer position.
Yeah, absolutely, and even Shark or even Trex was talking about the potential of this pick against the Bane, able to reverse a lot of those deadly catches, which allowed Hoon to come back in with his own deadly catches and really being a staple for this team when it comes to these setup potentials. And like we said, Shark really shined when it came to these type of heroes. Even Tigreal in some of the earlier series he had such a great game with it.
Yeah, I think when Shark has the right heroes in his hands, he can do some amazing things. I think as any player, there's always room to grow, and I hope that Shark continues to improve. But honestly, yeah, on that Lolita, it was refreshing to see him play that, and just the way you would expect that last game to kind of pan out once he had that pick, it went right into his hands.
And I want to know this time for the casters, what is something that you want to know from the players, like regarding this series? Because you guys didn't expect how the series have panned out.
Honestly, I'd kind of like to know where they thought the mishaps happened, especially for those 2 victories for Godspeed. I don't think anybody really expected, especially like you were talking about Godspeed's performance against Maple Leafs. So we were kind of expecting, a lot of people were kind of expecting this to be a walk in the park for BTK. For this to have to go to a game 5, there must have been some interesting choices. Maybe
monsters in the park.
Finding out maybe even finding out where that Chang'e was fitting into the composition would be one thing for me.
And the interview is ready, so let's hear it from the players. What went wrong? Wow. Hello. I was not expecting that angle, but welcome, Hoon. Looks like you're moving, right? So that's why you're in this phone angle.
I'm in prison right now.
Okay. Can you show us
Nice.
around the prison?
Room tour.
Well, so have you moved away from Las Vegas then?
Yeah, hate that place.
And where are you now?
I'm in Washington State. All the way in the, like right below Vancouver.
Oh, it's very, very convenient now. And
I just
so, moving to the games, I guess the question in the room is, what happened? Why the struggle? Did Shark not take his shower today? What happened?
I don't know about that one, but I don't know actually. Maybe the picks. Maybe we didn't play as serious.
And well, regarding the picks then, why the Chang'e in game 3?
Cause they had a Matilda Nova, so we tried to bully the mid lane with the strong Chang'e, and then what tank we had? Edith.
You don't remember?
Well, anyways, we try to just prioritize the mid lane, but then yeah, accident happened. Nova got the blue.
Yeah, I mean, I guess continue practicing the Chang'e. And have you guys been, Zhang said you guys have been working with a coach. So how has that been? Are you still sticking with the same coach?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Sorry, I can't hear well on this phone. Can you?
Okay, all right.
Can you talk louder?
Yeah. Okay,
Please.
so last few questions. So the viewers are saying, like acting like coaches, like saying you guys got out macroed last weekend. What do you think you need to change in order to perform better in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean that's true. We threw the late game as well, so I think it's really comes down to the discipline.
All right. Well, we won't keep you too long. Last question: is there any potential for a boot camp of your own for BTK in the playoffs?
We'll see.
Okay. And we will see. Congratulations for securing your spot in the playoffs, and we wish to see you in a better light and a better view next week. Bye.